Hello, good evening. Welcome along to the live lounge in Portsmouth for our second session of the day here at the Modus Super Series. And what a delightful night we've got on offer for you. Thomas Banks and Andy Bolton, two of the big names that are going to be in action over the next 3 hours or so. And we're going to be watching it in the company of the asset Paul Nicholson. Now, we were actually having a look at the fixtures just before we went live this evening. And we were looking at the names. Thomas Banks, Andy Bolton, of course, saw Romeo Gerbavc earlier on this week, played some superb stuff. Martin Turner, who's going to be at Lakeside in a few weeks' time. This is such a good lineup.
Yeah, I think Group B always delivers, doesn't it? Because we have some of the best from Group A. We've got second and third position from the first 3 days of the week. Andy and Romeo have played some really good stuff, and I think they're going to challenge over the next couple of nights. But when you bring in Thomas Banks in the form that he's been in over the last 6-7 months and doing what he's been doing, we can't discount Martin Turner and Peter Jakes, because I think them being in the practice room together is going to be a big thing because they know each other really well. I think the dynamics of this group are very promising.
Well, let's have a look at the tournament bracket at the halfway stage of the week. Alex Spellman won Group A on Wednesday afternoon. He was the first player to book his spot through to Saturday evening's final. Group C was what we were watching earlier on this afternoon, and it was the Belgian Brian Roman who won 4 out of 5. He's the player at the top of the table going into tomorrow afternoon's action that we'll be watching from 1 o'clock. And look, he had a poor Wednesday. He was the first to admit that when he walked into the practice room this morning. But everything that went wrong yesterday went so right for him today.
This whole phrase of darts being on the day, I don't necessarily subscribe to it. But Brian is maybe proving why some people think it. Because yesterday was atrocious in his own thinking. But today, he started afresh, he did the good things at the right times, and he looked like someone who was enjoying the battle. And I just hope for his sake that he doesn't have another bad day after a good day, because if he does, he will be caught.
Well, Brian Roman, top of the table. He has got a chasing pack behind him. We're going to be rewatching that action tomorrow afternoon from 1 o'clock on the Super Series YouTube channel. But to tonight's action in Group B, and it really is a high stakes and a group filled with big names this evening. Andy Bolton, the twice-weekly champion, perhaps one of the headline names. He's been involved in Group A on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. Has it just been a typically Andy Bolton week in terms of he's just so consistent in terms of the level you know to expect from him?
It's such an easy answer to give because, yes, it has been typically steady. I think Alex Spellman and Andy had a game against each other on Wednesday, and if Andy wins that match, the dynamic of Group A could be completely different. But he lost a key battle there. He didn't let it win him over, and as far as I'm concerned, he's going to be coming into the venue a couple of hours ago thinking, okay, it's just another Group B campaign. I'll just get through this way instead of winning Group A. Because in the past, he doesn't fail to make Saturdays. And I have to say at this early stage, I don't see him missing out again.
The other player that's dropped out of Group A is Romeo Gerbavc. Saw him play very well at the World Cup with Croatia alongside Boris Krčmar. What's been your assessment of his debut week here so far?
I think there's been a couple of games that he really didn't enjoy. And they were the first and second games that he had on Monday because he established leads and he lost both times. But after that, what we've learned about Romeo is that he can learn from a situation, whether it's a good or a bad situation, and move on and show exactly what he's made of. He's had the highest ceiling of the week, averaging over 109 in a match. He's had 104 plus as well. So the two best performances. And we can't forget that he's won quite a lot of games. He's had some of the biggest finishes of the week as well. There's just so much flashy stuff in the locker. If he can find the consistency as well, we've got a product.
Well, we spoke earlier on this afternoon about the odds. Now, Thomas Banks, in a lot of people's eyes, is one of the favourites to win this group, but not in the eyes of the bookmakers. They have him as the 8-1 outsider of the 5 players in this group. Quite simply put, is that just astounding? Easy for me to say.
Well, you get the feeling that Thomas has just been put in the wrong position. That's nonsense. Because we were here when Thomas was winning in the previous series. And in Group A and in Group C, and when it came to the finals night on the Saturday, the odds compilers didn't fancy him. And we said, this looks all sorts of wrong. So when we came in this evening and looked at the odds for Group B, and we see him at the bottom again, you think, have you not learned your lesson yet? It's not like he hasn't won between that series win and now. He actually has won something rather big. So, yeah, it doesn't look right. Let's see if they're right over the next couple of days.
It's 18 plus, gambleaware.org if you're going to have a flutter on the Super Series. It's headed right to our first game of the session, and it sees Thomas Banks in action. He takes on Andy Bolton. In fact, these two players will be going head-to-head at the ADC Global Championship come the end of the year. For Thomas, well, he is the top dog as far as that particular organisation is concerned. They're number one seed for those championships, the number one seed for the Tour Championship Finals, which takes place here next Saturday, and the recently crowned Vault National Singles Champion. It's been a golden year for BULLDOG Banks, and earlier on this evening, I caught up with him. Thomas, great to see you again. Great to see you back at the Super Series. This building now must hold some very good memories for yourself.
Yeah, it does. I'm just happy to be here, as always. Like, being in a professional environment, it's just brilliant for me, to be fair.
I know Champions Week didn't quite go to plan, but how did you find the experience?
It was really good, to be fair. Like, I played some of the best players in amateur darts. Like, Connor Scott's now won a tour card, and they're all up there on the Challenge Tour rankings. So playing against players like that, for me, is just brilliant, just to compete with players like that.
You mentioned the good memories of this place. Last time you were here in a qualifying week, you went on to win it. It was a very special night, wasn't it, for yourself?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I still watch it back whenever I can now, and like, if I'm ever feeling or low in confidence, I'll watch it back and I'll go like, right, come on, let's go back to my old self. And that's what I tried to do, and it didn't work at Champions Week, but I'll try my best tonight. That's all you can do.
For you, is it about that was just an experience and something you can learn from instead of it being the be-all and end-all?
Yeah, I mean, I've been here, this is my, fourth time now, if you include Champions Week. And I'm just very happy to be here all the time. I mean, I come here this time last year and wasn't very well, and that was just taken as experience. And I come here the next time and I won it. So just want to repeat that again.
Since we've seen you here last, won the ADC Vault Finals, nice little paycheck as well, and a big title as well that to hold, because that carries a lot of weight, that competition.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I play darts not for the money or anything. I play darts for it's fun, and I want to win. I want the title winner over my forehead, and even getting a trophy for that. And it's such a big trophy, and it means a lot to me now, because it's like money comes and goes, but that trophy always sticks with me.
And Thomas Banks is going to be in action against Andy Bolton to kickstart the evening's action here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Two players who have very much been two of the key players at the top of the ADC system in 2024. In matter of fact, Andy Bolton and Thomas Banks are two of the top three seeds for next Saturday afternoon's ADC Tour Championship Finals, which you can watch exclusively live on the Super Series YouTube channel. They're also going to be participating at the Global Championship at the end of the year. Since we've last seen Thomas, he's turned the age of 18. He was the winner of Week 9 of the previous series, and he will be hoping that kind of synergy may work for him here. But it's been the best part of a year since Andy Bolton won his last weekly title. In fact, it was a year ago this week that he won his last weekly title. It was the same week of the last Women's Championship Tour Finals. Both players have got a little bit of synergy, but only one may have the opportunity to win a weekly title. And Thomas Banks has kicked off his campaign for Series 9 with a maximum. These games this evening being refereed by George Baker.
There was a big smile there from Andy, as if to say, oh, here we go. Looks like this young man is still in form. Yes, that's right. First score of the night, a maximum from the outsider to win the group. Yeah, right.
59.
We both looked at those odds, and they were the same odds this afternoon. We were compiling our stats for the afternoon session, and we had a little peek at tonight, and we were both flabbergasted that Thomas Banks, who I reckon most people would have put as the favourite to go on and win this group, as the outsider.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
58.
I'm going to use a word here, but I'm going to flip the words around for it to sound a bit funnier. Absolute wads collop. Because for him to be the outsider, it doesn't make any sense. He is one of 3 weekly champions of the 5 players we got tonight. Andy's the other one.
97.
And then You've got Peter Jakes as well, but he hasn't won since Series 1.
119.
That was more than
Andy,
2
you require
years ago.
167.
Banks is the most recent winner. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, there's certainly been no
100.
recency
Thomas, you
bias as
require
far as the bookies are
85.
concerned. But Banks looking to get up and running. We're going to take out 85 for 1-0 lead. He's unable to do so. So Bolton is
45.
going to get a
Andy
break
requires
opportunity here.
67.
67 points away from a 1-0 lead in this contest.
Double 16 for the first leg.
35.
Well
Thomas,
thrown,
you require
but not
40.
registering the first leg. Is it taken by Thomas?
20.
It isn't.
Andy, you require 32.
And that was the Bulldogs' big problem at Champions Week. He was unable to take advantage of opportunities and missed a lot of darts at a double. And in this leg,
Game
Bolton
shot
has
in the
made
first
him
leg.
pay.
Andy
He gets the
Bolton.
breaker throw. He leads by a leg to 0.
Second leg, it's Andy to throw first. Game on.
That first leg of Group B this week. It's a Bobby George leg, isn't it? 180 for sure. Double for door.
100.
But like Thomas said, he doesn't play for the money. Not really sure I believe that.
100.
They all play for the money. And they play for the titles. They play for everything that's involved, including the enjoyment of the competition. I would say, though,
60.
that at the age of 18, 33 years younger than his opponent, he's probably got more license
140.
to just enjoy it. Because let's face it, there's not a massive amount of pressure, or at least there shouldn't be, on Thomas Banks at this stage of his career. He can go up there and just gain the experience.
140.
If you look at someone like Andy, you could actually say that Thomas has got more than 30 years to go.
100.
But if we are being realistic, how many more years does Andy have at this level, or maybe even slightly higher? At the very most, I would say 20. Because Paul Lim,
139.
in a month, is going to Lakeside at the age of
70.
70.
Well, Banks is going to take out the 161, and he's going to be hoping for a reversal of fortune.
45.
Where Bolton's done
Andy
all the big
requires
scoring,
62.
but he's hoping he'll also be doing the big missing. But this is a man who's built his game based upon efficiency, and usually that efficiency is getting legs done in 5 visits. But he's going to have to pin double 8 here and now to
46.
do that.
Thomas, you
And a
require
failure to do so has
116.
opened up the door for the Bulldog.
$76. Andy, you require
It's a good
16.
setup. But you don't fancy that Andy is going to miss. Using the width of the oche.
14.
And an uncharacteristic third dart.
Thomas, you
That
require
might be the worst dart
40.
he's thrown this week.
20.
It didn't really get close.
Andy, you
Well,
require
Thomas Banks
2.
here has had 3 darts in each of the 2 legs so far in this contest, and he hasn't been able to take advantage of either opportunity. Bolton finds himself in the madhouse.
No score.
And he could find himself back level
Thomas, you
because that's
require
another
20.
opportunity spurn. He's missed 9 at a double in this game.
Game shot
Banks
and the
levels
second
up with
leg.
his
Thomas
7th dart at a
Banks.
double in this contest. When you speak about his Champions Week
Third
experience,
leg,
Thomas
it's Thomas
Banks,
to throw first.
I think he found
Game
himself
on.
just a little bit off the pace in terms of his standard in comparison to the rest of the field. He had
57.
the lowest average of all 12 players that participated at that Champions Week. And in matter of fact, of the 6 players that qualified through to Champions Night,
100.
only Steve West did not average in excess of 90 for the entirety of the week that they played. Thomas averaged 84.5
100.
over the course of 25 games that week. He won just 3 throughout the course of the week and was just 30% on the doubles. If you compare that to the rest of the field, they were doubling at around an average
99.
of 37%.
Yeah, if you don't pick your game up in Champions Week, it's not going to happen for you. But if you think about this
134.
with a wider net, Henry, you could actually say the same for both. Because Andy's been to Champions Week twice, and twice he's not made Champions Night. And when you think about his talent levels, his ceiling of performance, his consistency, he still hasn't made
43.
Champions Night. That proves how hard it is.
And definitely one of the best players we've had here that has not made a Champions
42.
Night. That is for sure. He's definitely on the list. I suppose John Henderson will be a name that will be up there.
I've got to say Andy's top of the list because he's won 2 weekly titles. I know John has now, though.
And also, you look at his Challenge Tour years, both the years he's been off tour.
83, and
He's
he
been
required
there or thereabouts in
122.
terms of getting his tour card back through that route.
Correct.
Looking at 1-2-2 here. Well, he was looking at 1-2-2 to make it 2-1. Thomas heads straight back to the drinks table. He's going to come back for 85
90. Thomas, you
to
require
take the lead for the
85.
first time in this match. But if he doesn't take it out, his opponent is sat on double 16 to pinch his pocket.
60.
And he grazes the bullseye
and you
wire
require
there.
32.
He's now missed 10 darts at a double.
Game
But
shot
that
and
one
the third
sneaks
leg.
past the
Andy
guard.
Bolton.
And it's 2-1 to X Factor.
Fourth leg, it's Andy to throw first. Game on.
I love Andy's shirt. Do you know that? I'm a massive fan of everything he does. Even the limbering up. And there's sometimes limbering down. But every time I look at the front of his shirt, it reminds me of Family Fortunes.
43.
I'm not doing the sound effect.
Neither am I. Everybody's safe.
177.
That's better than safe. Starting in perfect fashion. Here in leg number 4. We had a lot of 4-3s this afternoon in Group C.
100.
I would not be surprised to find us having some in this group as well.
Oh, hang on.
120.
The sixth dart ricocheted, but it ricocheted out of the single 20 as opposed to the treble. But what may not be a perfect leg attempt is a perfect setup play for Thomas Bates because he's taken the darts of Bolton here in leg 4.
60.
Looking to level this high quality, high caliber opening contest of the night at 2 apiece. And it's all about that first dart with Thomas. When it hits the top of the bed
140.
like that, it invites others to follow.
What's really funny is that if he'd maxed there to leave 24, he would have had 9 darts in trebles in the leg.
140. Thomas, you require
He could have had a
64.
10 darter with no singles.
24. And you require
Yeah, I know it might be a leg he
158.
loses. 2 treble 20s and double 19. That's gone.
Well, that would have been the steal of all steals if Bolton took that finish out anyway. Banks back for tops to square this contest up at 2-2. A game which was blighted by a lot of missed doubles in the first couple of legs,
45.
but it feels
Thomas,
like,
you require 40.
particularly in the case of Thomas, a game which is really beginning to come up to the boil towards the middle portion. But that's more
20.
missed opportunities. It's
And
now
you
1 from
require
12 on the outer ring for
113.
Thomas.
And there's something happening as well as a pattern on those doubles. He's missing tops low,
53.
He's missing 10s
Thomas,
right.
you require 20.
but he could still be level. Oh no,
No score.
loses
And
the
you
line.
require 60.
That is some vicious water drinking going on right there.
Game shot and the fourth leg.
And Andy can't believe he's just
Bolton.
won that fourth leg. But there's something happening at the start of this game.
Fifth leg, it's Thomas to throw
And
first.
when you've only
Game
got
on.
8 games in Group B, if something has to be rectified, it's got to be done quickly.
180!
His shots at tops and some of the shots at the 60, he's missing low. That cannot continue in this group.
Well, it's been 5 legs in this match, and in 3 of them, Thomas Banks has kicked off perfectly. A couple of
100.
180s and another maximum turn. But 1 from 15 on the doubles. Remember, in that previous leg, he had
81.
a dart at tops to win it after a dozen. Andy Bolton went out in 20. On throw.
140.
And Bolton doing what any experienced player would do in this situation. Knows his opponent, cannot get rid of him
83.
in legs, and just continues to pile the pressure on, knowing that at some point he may crack and he will take advantage.
I think about it this way. How many darts at double is Thomas going to need to win this match?
97. Thomas,
He might
you
even
require
need record territory.
157.
My advice, try a different double.
59.
Was it 4 from
And you
32
require
Moreno Blom, the
164.
record, isn't it?
You shouldn't need more than 30 darts to win a best of 7 match. Andy might need only 15. That's a beautiful setup.
Thomas, you
Banks
require 98.
needs to hit this. If he doesn't, he may just be defeated.
58. And you require 32.
Well, he's had to dodge some bullets at times, says Andy Bolton, but now this his opportunity to seal a 4-1 success.
Game
So to
shot
get
and
his
the match,
campaign
Andy Bolton.
off to a perfect start, he rounds it off with a 13-darter. He gets the better of Thomas Banks by 4 legs to 1. A game which, in terms of the scoring stakes, Thomas wasn't too bad in. But 1 from 15 on the doubles is a real glaring problem. That the tale of the tape from our opening match of the evening session. Bolton runs out a 4-1 winner. Coming up after the break, it's Martin Turner up against Romeo Gerbavc. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where full focus is going to be on qualifying for Saturday night's final in this Group B. And Andy Bolton has got off to the perfect start, getting the better of Thomas Banks by 4 legs to 1. A game where both players had 15 darts and a double. Bolton way more clinical than his young opponent in those particular stakes. Next up, we're going to watch the Mutt's Nuts in action. Martin Turner, the 55-year-old from York, who's never made it through to a Saturday night. His 7th appearance here, but unable to do so in his previous 6. Up against Romeo Gerbavc, the 30-year-old from Split in Croatia. Famous football team in Split, Hajduk Split. But he's hoping to steal the spoils when it comes to Saturday night here at the Live Lounge. Your referee for the evening, George Baker.
First leg, it's
from
Martin
Warwickshire,
to throw first.
county level official.
Game on.
Great to have him as a part of our team. Martin Turner steps up to the hockey. He's going to be playing on some of the most famous hockeys in the world here this week.
30.
And then we'll be at the Lakeside in December.
$95.
Two of the 4 players that we've seen so far
100.
have got very, very big things coming up. Romeo actually had big ambitions at the start of the year when he started coming through
100.
European Tour qualifiers in the Eastern European category. I'm sure at that point he was thinking, if I can do what Krzysztof Ratajski did in 2017, I might even make the European Championship.
140.
It didn't work out that way, but it has been a really good first season for Romeo to do things like that. And
119.
the fact is, after the last 3 days, we know what he's got. You don't go on that stage
140.
and average 109 by accident. This lad has something.
100. Martin, you acquire 91.
He showed it in spades, didn't he, at the World Cup here when Boris Kretschmar played superbly at that tour. But this is a superb start
Game
for
shot
Martin
on the first
Turner.
leg.
A
Martin
clean kill on the
Turner.
91. He takes out the double 16 into the bottom corner. And into a 1-0 lead
Second
he
leg
goes.
is Romeo to throw first. Game on.
I remember speaking after the World Cup, and I implored 2 players from that
125.
tournament to play in this, and they both have now. The first being Craig Galliano from Gibraltar, and the second one being Romeo
125.
Gerbavc of Croatia.
$140.
This is his first evening session here. And I think he's going to be more comfortable playing
60.
at this time of night than possibly any player that we've ever had here.
96.
And you might think I am out of my mind saying that, but I have evidence to suggest why.
96. Romeo require 140.
I'll explain in like 3.
Because Romeo really has gone through the gears here. I know it's still early days, but to
60.
give an indication as to how he's playing, his average is in excess of 104.
100.
This is
Romeo
a tough
require
assignment
80.
for Martin, even with all of his experience. Double 10.
$70.
However,
Martin, you
Turner
require
can
120.
turn on the style and double the lead. Double top.
Game shot on
How
the second
good
leg.
was that?
Martin Turner.
That was so good, it looked like AI.
Third leg, it's Martin to throw first.
There's
Game
more
on.
artificial intelligence than artificial intelligence of Martin Turner, and he leads 2-0 with a break.
See, there's a darting nickname that nobody's taken yet.
70.
Maybe that's what Alex Spellman should be, because he works in computers. He should be artificial intelligence. But my reasoning for
58.
Romeo, who is actually now 2-0 down, so I've actually shot myself in the foot a little bit here. But he is someone who
60.
tends to do most of his practice after midnight because of what he does for a living. He works
180.
as a server or a waiter in Germany. And then when the whole thing's finished and the establishment is closed, he practices
36.
after hours. So playing at this time of night, it will feel extremely normal to him.
99.
Whereas to others, them playing around midnight or beyond does take a bit of getting used to.
180. Romeo require 164.
Martin Turner will be the first to attest. Gerbavc not taking out the 1-6 forward, so Turner will return for the 1-5-5
Martin, you require 155.
to open up a 3-0 lead. He's playing really well here, averaging in excess of 96. But the 1-5-5 isn't going to be added to the 120 in terms of his big ton plus
Romeo require
finishes,
108.
but he's going to leave himself on tops, forcing this to go. Forcing this dart at double 16
Game
to
shot
be
and the
hit,
third
and
leg,
it is.
Romeo Gerbavc.
What a contest we're being treated to here. Back-to-back ton plus checkouts. Both
Fourth
players
leg, it's
averaging
Romeo
in and
to throw
around the
first.
ton.
Game on.
Turner broken. Gerbavc's back in the contest at 2-1.
Martin made one mistake in the
100.
previous leg. He didn't take out 155. That was it. Did everything else right.
131.
There's a great rhythm about this game as well. And Martin's last three scores, 180, 115, 131.
57.
He's averaging nearly 100. This is one of the best versions I've seen of Martin in the last few years. I know it's only 3 legs in, but
43.
the signs are good.
He looks better, doesn't he? The throw looks a bit... But look, it's going to be very stop-start with Martin. We've learnt that over the years because there's a bit of a component of the throw that goes missing.
100.
But it looks far more flowier than perhaps it has done in recent times. If he could just let that release nicely,
140.
it's perfect for him, and he is doing so here.
60.
And this is not just a 2-day campaign for him to tune up for Lakeside. Oh, no, no, no.
57.
Martin is one of only 2 players in this group who have not won a weekly title yet. Now, Romeo's the other one, but he's never been here before.
134. Martin, you require 130.
And Martin's record of making Saturday night is something he's not proud of.
58.
6
Romeo, you
attempts.
require 50.
No Saturdays. That's got to change. But this game could change.
Game shot
And it has
the fourth
changed.
leg. Romeo Gerbavc.
It was 2-0 Turner. Now we're all square. Great battle
Fifth
this.
leg, it's Martin to throw first. Game on.
2-2, both players averaging in the high 90s.
36.
Come on then, Henry. You mentioned about Galliano and Gerbavc. Who's next? Because I've got one.
58.
I want him to be tested. I want to see what he's made of. And I want him to take that next step because I get the feeling that somebody needs to give him a
60.
push.
I tell
And
you,
that's Patrick Kovac.
oh, good shout. I'm going to go a bit more further afield. I'd like to see
45.
I'd like to see one of the Filipino players here, Paulo the Breeder or somebody along those lines.
You want Alexis Toilo here, don't you?
Toyo would be a good one.
140.
Everyone would love to watch Lawrence Alagan in this building.
He's going to be playing darts this weekend. He's at the Grand Slam.
55.
All the best, lol. Hope you're watching.
I think if there's one thing that... If I could send a Christmas wish list to Father
95.
Christmas this year...
Well, you can. I don't think you'll get anything back, though. Sorry to break the hearts of the kids.
It would be more Asian representation of the
Martin, you
Super
require
Series next year. I'd
170.
love to see more players from that region between these 4 walls. We'd love to see the big fish, but Turner isn't going to oblige.
134.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's only geography that stops us getting them.
100.
Well, they have to
Martin,
get
you
through to the
require
Saturday for their trip
36.
to even be justified because of the expenses and things like that. That's the key problem. But that double
Game
18,
shot
no
and the
problem
fifth
for
leg,
Turner.
Martin
He'd led
Turner.
2-0, was pegged back to 2 apiece, but he's re-established his lead and is now a leg away from winning
Sixth
this
leg,
second
it's Romeo
match
to
of the
throw
evening.
First. Game on.
Just one last thing on the Asian players as well. They have actually had the Asia Pacific Cup this week.
97.
And Japan had a wonderful time of it. men's singles champion, Tatsunami. He's a character.
140.
And a friend of the show, winning the ladies, Yukie Sakaguchi. The only time she doesn't
58.
wear a tie, she goes and wins the Asia Pacific Women's Singles Championship, and she is elated with it. Congratulations to Yukie.
180.
I don't know what would possess a player to wear a tie on a stage.
100.
You'll keep.
Yeah.
At least when I wore a tie, it didn't look like I was being someone who was being
87.
voted in for Liberal Democrats. Right. Back to the red.
180.
Oh, yeah.
Martin, you require
Is it game
94.
over or game on, Martin? Could be game on.
54.
If we're
Romeo,
going to
you
get
require
games like this
66.
tonight, sign me up. He was thinking treble 14. That's 27. That leaves 39. Double 16. It's key. And it's in.
Game shot and the six
Sensational
leg.
game.
Romeo Gerbavc.
The clutch finishing in this contest has been absolutely superb, particularly
Seventh
by
and
that
final
man in your
leg, it's
picture there.
Martin to throw
The
first.
Croatian
Game on.
Romeo Gerbavc, who has sent us to a last leg decider. Twice Martin Turner has had the ascendancy in this match, and
92.
twice he has seen that lead whittled away.
$100.
Shouldn't really be shocked at the standard that we're seeing right here.
100. $87.
You do get the feeling that Turner is the favourite because he's got the darts.
99.
He's not doing much wrong in this last leg. He's finding a treble every turn. That forces Gerbavc to get more than that.
140.
I'm not sure that's enough.
Turner has 6 darts on 210 to see out what has been an absolute corker of a contest. It strayed the other side into the treble one. It's left him with options. 23 scored.
43.
Had to persevere there. Has left himself for the finish, but you could argue that the ball moves into the court of Romeo if he
39.
found something tangible
Martin, you
there.
require 167.
Well, well, well. Things have slowed down as we get to the end.
95. Romeo, you require
135
135.
to steal victory away from the Yorkshireman. And it's not going to happen. The finishing of Turner has been
45.
exceptional.
Martin, you
3
require
from
72.
4. He only needs one more for 2 points.
And he's going to get 2 in his hand. A double 12, of
Game
which
shot
he
and the
only
match,
needs the
Martin
one.
Turner.
And Martin Turner puts in possibly one of his best performances on the live lounge stage. An average just under 95, and he is very pleased with himself. The Mutt's nuts, well, he played that way, didn't he? He was absolutely superb. It was a real special second contest of the evening session. Turner running out a 4-3 winner, averaging a shade under 95, 4 for 5 on his doubles, including that 120 checkout. Romeo Gerbavc also had that 108 checkout. He was 50% himself, averaging 90.5. Coming up after the break, a first look at Peter Jakes here in the best part of, well, 18 months. He takes on Thomas Banks in our third match of the evening session, and that's coming up on the other side of this short break.
Welcome to the party in Portsmouth here at the Modus Live Lounge.
They've both got the talent where they can just reel off leg after leg and dish out a heavy defeat. And what a way to start the day. We're up and running here on Champions Week with a maximum.
But what a way to finish. A 12-dart leg.
Beautiful checkout there from Cam Crabtree. Only needs the one.
Game shot on the second leg. Darius
What were you saying about efficiency?
Game shot on the third leg. Reece
Is that
Robinson.
the moment that Reece Robinson comes alive in this crucial clash? Looks like he's going to go for it. And it is right next to his favourite double top. And he gets the job done at the earliest possibility. That is Cam Crabtree through.
Case not so. Harrison gets the all-important win.
Game shot on the second leg. Darius Labanowski. Game shot.
Well, Smith is it
Darius
a
Labanowski.
9? A long time. And that clenched fist.
Game shot on the mark.
He gets the job done in the end. He's nodding in total agreement because
Game shot on the fourth flag.
Just
Darius
like that.
Labanowski.
he needs the one. There you can see.
That she can unlock at any moment, but that is quality from Harrison. This would be a wake-up.
Welcome to the party in Pompey. Should be a good marker for him. And is. It was a great dive.
Game shot on the first leg. Andreas
It's a
Harrison.
breaker throw for Andres Harrison.
Game shot on the second leg. Cam Crabtree.
Consecutive breaker throw. Double 16 is found.
And he does lead. It's not an 11, but it's a beautiful 12, treble 17 that she gets. Bullseye for the win. Absolutely incredible by Andreas Harrison.
He's Andreas Dirty Harrison.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series from the Live Lounge here in Portsmouth. Before the break, Martin Turner got the better of Romeo Gerbavc by 4 legs to 3, averaging just a shade under 95 in that contest. A finishing superb, 4 from 5, including a 120 checkout. And now a first look of Peter Jakes, the 51-year-old for Denby Dale in Yorkshire. The winner of Week 11 of Series On, played in the first ever Champions Week here at the Super Series 2 years ago. Can you believe it? Since we watched Conan Whitehead lift that title in the final against Graham Usher. He takes on Thomas Banks, who is at the most recent Champions Week in the summer. Jakes, who hasn't appeared here since Series 2, Week 7, when he lost in a final to a player who'd go on to win the series in Raymond Smith. It's been a while since we've seen the Yorkshireman here. It's a battle of Yorkshire and Norfolk. If you look at Thomas Banks' team, of course, he's from
First
Hertfordshire
leg, it's
originally,
Peter to
but
throw first.
he's taken the
Game
Norfolk
on.
Norwich colours as his own. As for Peter Jakes, he wears that white rose with real pride.
He really does.
81.
And he has every right to do so as well, because when you talk about people who have got exceptional records here,
81.
what Peter Jakes has done here, albeit not for a while, is forgotten. And I've been waiting to get this off my chest.
135.
I'm really surprised he's not been here in a while. I don't know what's going on in Peter's life, whether he's just not been able to commit to darts for a
81.
while. But in weekly campaigns like this, he makes finals. When he turns up, he makes the final.
48.
Lost to Smith, like you mentioned. Won the other one against Robert Thornton, and that was a night that involved Martin Adams as
95.
well. Think about the reputations that we're talking about there, and people who were in form at the time. Peter is very hard to beat.
60.
But the asterisk that's attached to what we've just mentioned is we don't really know what kind of form he's in right
59.
now. We will find out over the next couple of nights.
Well, Peter's performances are that good that he played in the Group A of that particular Champions Week. And that was a stacked Champions Week
45.
lineup. Have a listen to this. These are the players that are playing in that Champions Week. Conan Whitehead, of course, won it. Graham Usher, runner-up. Josh Payne, Darryl
97.
Pilgrimson, geezer
Peter, you
called
require
Chris Mason,
132.
Lee Evans, Robert Owen, Gavin Carlin, Chaz Barstow, Kieran Tierney and Graham Hall.
Yeah, it's not bad.
11 players and a
84.
commentator in that
Thomas,
field.
you require 88.
Still the only commentator to win a week. 7-7.
Game shot in the first
Just goes to
leg.
show what
Thomas
happens when you
Bank.
get a different double to go at. That one's fine. Double top and 10. It has been
Second
somewhat
leg, it's Thomas to throw
not
first.
sumptuous
Game on.
yet.
Change of double, change of fortune.
140.
But nothing has changed about the power scoring of Thomas Banks. And it is that power scoring that buys and affords him so many opportunities in a double. But we also know that at his best, Peter could score like the best of them.
That's true.
80.
You ever heard the story about the first Players' Championship he ever played in?
Please do enlighten.
81.
I played him in the first round. I didn't have a clue who he was. Didn't have a clue. I looked at the sheet and it said
145.
Peter against myself, and I thought, I don't even know who that is. Anyway, prepared the same as I did all the time. Put in a couple of hours of practice, got myself mentally ready.
140.
Played pretty well at the
Thomas, you
time.
require 136.
Peter stuffed me.
Yeah.
I thought, I've got no idea who that
96.
was.
Peter, you require
He'd end up making the
100.
final that day, and he lost to Alan Norris.
And I'm sure Peter thought, what a lovely draw in round one. Tops for the ton.
Game shot in the
Tops,
second
leg one.
Peter
Peter Jakes, the Terrier, has marked his arrival back at the live lounge. And in some style, a
Third leg
tops
is
finish
Peter to throw
for a ton
first. Game
topper
on.
to get the break back of Banks, and level we are at 1-1.
Told you he's hard to beat.
42.
Thanks, Peter. You've just made me look really, really good by proving just how good you are.
139.
Still 2-0 Deacon tonight, don't worry about that.
Yeah, it's not even half time.
That's why I'm getting him in early.
I wonder how many shirts Peter's brought.
45.
I think he's got 8 different colours. Well, he doesn't need 8. He needs 3. 1 for today, 1 for tomorrow,
56.
and prospectively 1 for Saturday as well.
You never know. If he's got 8 different colours, he could have used one for every different game in Group B.
It's going a bit far, isn't it?
Well, we saw it the last Champions Week. Neil Duffberg a change of shirt.
100.
Yeah, 1 change of shirt. Peter's not going to do a Paul Ince. He's not going to walk to the arena and put his shirt on just before he walks up the steps.
164.
Well, that was a spectacular setup. A 1-6-4 to leave Banks on 1-4-2. And if he found the 25 there, he would have left himself on a
59.
finish
Thomas, you require
on 1-6-7. It was superb setup play there for the Bulldog, who very much thinks outside the box when it comes to his
98.
setup play.
What's he going to do with that 44? If he leaves tops, I think he's got to recalibrate
81. Thomas, you require
what he's going
44.
for.
Game shot in the third leg.
now.
Thomas Banks.
Maybe he needed a few reps in the practice room just to get good on that double. And this is a
Fourth
very
leg, it's
different
Thomas
looking
to throw
Thomas Banks,
first.
isn't it?
Game on.
He's the type of player that
60.
perhaps against the grain of many young players, is very good at reacting to setbacks and can take defeats, can take poor moments.
140.
When you say well, it sounds like he's a good loser. I don't mean it that way, but he can learn very well from the mistakes that he's made in the past.
140.
That's the ideal situation, isn't it? You do something, you don't succeed, but you learn from it and you move on and you put it right.
95.
Can you envisage Peter Jakes being someone who does things in seniors? He is over 50 now.
134.
He's the type of player that would play at a standard that, particularly on the floor, would be competitive.
80.
He's very
Thomas, you
well
require
respected.
167.
By a lot of people. But Thomas is taking that respect and he's
97.
allowing it for him to play better against him. He will know how dangerous Peter can be. And he has responded very well.
84. Thomas, you require 70.
For a 3-1 lead. 2 darts at tops. And that is
Game
back-to-back
shot and the fourth
14
leg,
dart legs
Thomas
for Thomas
Banks.
Banks. He really is going through the gears. 3 for 3 on his doubles.
5th leg, it's Peter to
In
throw
comparison
first.
to the 1
Game
for
on.
15 in his previous match. And his average here is in excess of 101.5. What a difference a game can make.
97.
Not that far away from his personal best on this stage. Just a shade over 102.
134.
Stick in another 14 darter. That'll get it done. That'll be a personal best.
84.
And he has been pushed. To Thomas's credit, he has limited Peter to 1 dart at a double.
140.
That is brilliant. Because he has not played poorly at all.
I'm just having a look at the real power scoring of Thomas Banks. He's had 3 scores of 130 or more,
100.
5 140 or more. He's continually peppering 2 treble turns, visit in, visit out. And there's another
140.
one. It's back-to-back 14 darters to make it 3-1. It could be an 11 darter to win the match. His average 106.48. He may not just beat his previous
100.
personal
Thomas,
best.
you require 87.
He may decimate it.
Bullseye.
40. Peter, you require 120.
Here's the thing. He actually needed to hit that. Because Peter is lurking, waiting, chomping at the bit. And
Game
there you
shot
go.
and the 5th
That's
leg,
why it's so
Peter
hard to beat.
Jakes.
Because you just can't get rid of him.
6th leg, it's Thomas to throw first. Game on.
You give him an inch, he'll take a mile. And just when we were
81.
talking about Thomas Banks winning with a personal best average, he is brought back into this contest and is being forced here to serve it out. And for once, it was only 1 treble with a visit for
100.
Thomas. And it did just half open up the door ajar for Peter there. Wasn't able to truly take advantage of it.
94.
But I cannot remember a previous trebleless visit in a scoring term from Thomas. Particularly not the last 3 legs.
140.
He's got to be really careful now.
125.
Because sneakily, Jakes is starting to turn the screw just a little bit more.
$140.
See what I'm saying? It's getting better, but it's not going from, say, 85 to 140s.
121.
This is sneaky. Really, really good sneaky.
He's tightening the ship, and as a consequence, he's edging closer towards Thomas Banks.
85.
And
Thomas
he's left
Ducal,
himself for the
142.
double after 12 to take us all the way. And he is going to get a go at double 18
45.
to force the
Peter,
last
you
leg
require
decider.
36.
Hasn't missed a dot, a double yet. Big shot. He's up to it.
Game shot and the
Right in the middle of double
Peter
nine.
Jakes.
I'm not sure how much Thomas knows
Seventh
about
and
Peter,
final leg is
but he
Peter
knows
to
plenty
throw
now.
First. Game on.
Well, Thomas had the opportunity to win this game 4-1. That chance came and went. And ever since, Peter Jakes, in true terrier style, has been snapping at the
125.
ankles of his opponent and has forced the last leg decider, a 1-leg shootout.
41.
What we were saying about not knowing what form Peter is in, I think we've already got enough information to say that he looks pretty sharp.
104. Sorry.
I don't
100.
know what he's been doing recently. But whatever it is,
56.
it's given him enough sharpness to come back here and he's going to contend.
Well, effectively, the Bulldog has become the sacrificial lamb, hasn't he? The one that has to play Peter Jakes' corner. Any prior knowledge as to
55.
how he may well get along. And in this battle between 2 dog nicknames. It looks
58.
like it's the dogged Peter Jakes who's 6 starts away from pulling off a comeback win.
One dart at the bullseye to win this match
180
is probably all Thomas was going to get. I sneakily thought
83.
that when he had that 87, he needed to hit
41.
that ball to win this match, and as it turned out, he did.
Well, this has been a day of comebacks, hasn't it? Are we about to see another one here? Yes is the answer.
Danger and the match, Peter J.
Because the Terrier has beaten the Bulldog, and Thomas Banks will have his tail between his legs. 2 games played, 2 defeats. And he is in severe trouble early on here. As for Peter Jakes, well, it's been the best part of 2 years between drinks in this competition. Well, he has come back and has laid down the foundations. 2 ton-plus finishes, helping him en route to a 4-3 victory against Thomas Banks, coming back from 3-1 behind. Banks had a dart at the bullseye to win it, was unable to take it, and Jakes did the rest. Coming up after the break is Andy Bolton up against Martin Turner.
Hang on a minute.
Wow! Oh my God! Well, that's £100 down the drain already.
Itching to hit the 180.
He's gone for the maximum.
18 for the bull. Bull.
53.
No, he said bull. That's a great first start from Adam. Oh, look at this. He's going to leave Scape. Oh, can you believe it? That is unbelievable.
Get match darts to put his team into the final. And through to the final they go. Charlie Murphy has hit the match-winning dart on both occasions. Double 4 for the title.
Please show your appreciation for the winner of the Influencer Pairs event, George Scaife and Adam Lipscomb.
He seems to be out. That's what he is, Charlie Murphy. A couple more visits yet. We're not going to need that.
Bosh.
Pie Face is through. He gets
And he's absolutely buzzing.
It was a game that Pie Face dominated throughout.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series from the live lounge here in Portsmouth, where the players this week are looking to reach dizzying heights at the live lounge. And Martin Turner reached some dizzying heights in his first match, averaged just a shade under 95 to get the better of Romeo Gerbavc by 4 legs to 3. Andy Bolton also in the winners' enclosure so far this evening. The victor of this match will be the first player on to 4 points in this group, and they may well have a share for the lead at the halfway point or the outright lead. Peter James before the break got the better of Thomas Banks in an intriguing affair by 4 legs to 3. Banks missing a dart to win the match of an average of 104. Didn't get another one. And Jakes from 3-1 behind ran out a 4-3 victor. As for Andy Bolton, You could argue at times he was outplayed by Thomas Banks in his opening match, but he did what any good match player does. Sticks with the task, saw the
60.
misses of Thomas Banks, and duly took advantage of them.
Absolutely right. Didn't panic. And that's something that a lot of dart players can learn from.
100.
I'll tell you someone who's really happy with the wins in Game 2 and Game 3.
60.
Sean Bean. Because they did it for Yorkshire. Yorkshire's had a very good night so far. The 2 best performances have come from the Yorkshire players.
100.
And I said at the top of the show, I will say this though, somewhat speculatively, but some of these Yorkshire lads, they like to stick together.
60. Andy, you got 161.
And I think because they're in the same practice room, Peter and Martin, I think that might help them.
Hailing that Yorkshire spirit.
60.
Darren Johnson's not here. One of Martin's good pals. He's actually over at the Irish Open in Killarney. All the very best DJ.
Very interesting story behind that nickname.
Andy, you got 101.
This could be an interesting start. A topping start potentially. Double 16 for Bolton. Oh, beautiful.
Game shot on the first
Absolutely
leg. Andy
stunning
Bolton.
from Andy Bolton. A ton plus start. The 101 goes. He leads by a leg to
Second
nil.
leg, it's Martin to throw
And that
first.
is a
Game
leg
on.
that typifies that man. A 5-visit leg hit of a 101 finish with real clinicism and conviction.
81.
That's what his game is all about. He's never been one for massive
100.
clusters of maximums. But he can hang on to a match and make things awkward for you as long as you want.
92.
That's why he's been so successful here. We were talking earlier about Martin, and he's been here 6 times and failed to make a
140.
Saturday.
Check 180. 135.
Well, Andy has made 7 Saturdays from 7 trips here in weekly qualifying campaigns. Just think about that for a second. 7 trips here, that's a lot of darts. But to make Saturday every time,
85.
that is amazing. And he's won 2 finals, and there have been other finals that he's lost to people like Scott Taylor and Sebastian Białecki, who he's been in 2 finals with.
58.
But in those finals, the players that have beaten Andy have both averaged in excess of a ton. That is how difficult a man he is to beat.
60.
Bolton very much on the cusp now of the break of throws. 6 starts on 208 for a 2-0 lead in this contest.
100.
And going about his business in typical Andy Bolton fashion.
It's probably the best compliment you can pay a player.
125. And
To say that they are hard to beat. It seems like a somewhat flippant statement, but trust me, it's the ultimate compliment.
Double 14, he could do it again.
80.
Whisker of a while away,
Martin,
but
you
credit has to go
require
where credit's
58.
due. Martin Turner's been hot on the tail. Admittedly, it is a leg on throw, but he's kept with the Bolton tailwind. And he
Game
squares
shot on the
this
second
contest
leg.
up at
Martin
1-1.
Turner.
It feels like one of those nights
Third leg is Andy
where
to throw first.
minimal
Game
mistakes
on.
are going to be punished severely.
I agree. Imagine how Thomas Banks is feeling right now. He missed 1 dart at double in the match. That was at the Bull to win it.
100.
He didn't get another dart at double.
Dare I say earlier on this afternoon, the way he played, he probably would have won both matches.
Yeah, he would have.
95.
How many times can we say that, though? Pretty much every week. And how many times do we have Group B as the biggest quality
100.
of the week? It just always seems to be the case. Because we like darts after dark.
140.
Having said that, that happens around 4:30 in the afternoon now.
Wait till next month.
Why are we taking this to Finland?
There actually is a part, I think it's in Norway, where the sun has set.
59.
And it won't come back up again until I think it's the beginning of March or something along them lines.
42.
Let me put it to you this way. Andy Bolton's tan is so good that he could live in that part of Norway and still have a tan.
Well, he dressed up as the Bonds Adonis last week, didn't he, the X Factor?
he did, actually.
100.
He did a fabulous job of it, too. Likes of Ryan Joyce, Nathan Aspinall, Chris Dobie, Ross Smith, and others.
140.
If you want to see the video of it with the Champions League music, you have to look for Adam Hunt on X. It is a very funny little sketch.
The biggest disappointment is Andy Bolton didn't decide to play in that attire this evening.
97. Martin, you
I'm
require
amazed he got a
84.
Steve Beaton dart shirt. I've been trying to get one for years. Can't get a hold of one.
Well, Martin Turner could get a hold of this match here. If he could pin the ball, and he
Game set on the
does.
third leg.
And he does so
Martin Turner.
beautifully. A game which looked like was going to be in the favour of Andy Bolton was going to be dominated by Andy Bolton after the first leg and a half.
Fourth leg,
Has
it's Martin
turned
to
on
throw
its head.
first. Game on.
It's a tied Turner for Martin Turner. And he leads by 2 legs to 1 with a break in hand.
His finishing tonight is so incredible.
85.
He is slicing through doubles and bullseyes like a samurai through a pineapple. It's astonishing. He's 2 from 3 in this game. He was 4 from
100.
5 in the previous one. Never seen Martin play this effectively at the start of any group he's played.
140.
It's like he's playing with venom. Yeah, the Tom Hardy version.
If he plays like this, he suddenly becomes a serious contender in the Lakeside next month.
99.
Yes, we're heading to that territory again.
One step at a time, Henry. Next thing you know, someone's going to be putting up their Christmas tree. Oh, no, that's already happened.
81.
I take it you've not stepped in yet.
I'll step you in a minute.
Well, the walls are beginning to close in on Andy Bolton a little bit. The wheels are just beginning to fall off
25.
somewhat. And Turner here has 6 starts at 195 to open up a 3-1 lead in a game where he conceivably could have been 2-0 down in.
99.
Correct. And the reason why Andy is struggling in this game at this point is because he's been put under so much pressure by his opponent, who's having a great time of it.
100. Martin, you require 96.
Stay on that marker. He's got the
56.
luxury of coming back. And something we haven't spoken about as well. It's how close Turner was to making Saturday the last time he was here in a Group C in the previous series. He missed out and he lost his last 2 matches.
137.
He left.
Martin,
He
you
was
require 40.
hurt. But he's the
Game
one
set
who's
on the
making
fourth
other
leg.
people hurt
Martin
tonight.
Turner.
He could hit doubles with his eyes closed.
Fifth
Well,
leg,
he
it's
is
Andy to
making
throw
an impression.
First. Game on.
And he is making a real imprint now on this Group B. And suddenly, a couple of games in, he wins this and he gets the better in his first couple of matches of
43.
Gerbavc and Bolton, the 2 players who dropped out of Group A. He becomes the player to be feared. He becomes the player to beat.
121.
I don't know for sure about the construct of the barrels that he's using at the minute, but colour-wise,
135.
these are different darts that Martin has. If you think that that doesn't really make much of a difference, think again.
125.
These bronze or gold coloured darts, they might feel just a bit better in the hands. I've spoken to quite a few players, including Luke Littler recently. He started using golden coloured darts. He went back to his black ones, and it was night and day. The black ones worked for him, and these things,
100.
they almost look rusty, but boy, are they working.
I know Martin's actually a quick player anyway, but he's playing with far more zip as well this evening. He's pacing up and down that hockey, and he could quickly
59.
be
Martin,
moving on
you
to 4
require
points in this group. He's 155 points away from his second win of the evening. He's not going to take it out this time.
59.
Bolton has to
And you
take
require
out this 167.
167.
This entire game, he has been under
59.
pressure. He's had no
Martin,
breathing
you
space
require 96.
at all.
That's a rare slip. He's unable to recover. And it was this 108
64.
finish,
And do you require
which
108?
Bolton missed the double 14 of to go 2-0 up in this contest. I suppose that perhaps there's a divine irony that this is the finish that he needs to save the contest, but unlike his previous attempt, he's unable to find the treble with dart 2. And so Martin Turner will return 3 darts in hand at double 16 for his
Martin,
second
you
win of the
require
evening.
32.
Wow.
Game shot and the match.
4
Martin
out of
Turner.
5 on the doubles again. He is seeing the doubles tonight like they're the size of Southampton. That's a swear word in Portsmouth, isn't it? But right now, after dancing his way through the second match of the night, he is dancing off the stage with 4 points in the bag. Not a great deal between him and the averages, but I tell you this, I can't remember anybody starting a Group B campaign as well as this on the doubles. He's 80% for the night so far. Borderline unsustainable brilliance from Martin Turner. Last game of the first half, Romeo Gerbavc up against PJ next.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. We're about to reach the halfway point of the night. Before the break, Martin Turner made it 2 wins from 2, getting the better of Andy Bolton by 4 legs to 1. Before dart was thrown, he was 6 to 1 to top the Group B table. That is exactly where he is now. But he could have company on that 4-point mark. Peter Jakes, who got the better of Thomas Banks in his opening game of the night, came back from 3-1 down to win that contest, aided and abetted by a couple of Tub Plus checkouts. He takes on Romeo Gerbavc, who lost out to the aforementioned Martin Turner in the second game of the evening session. If Peter wins this game, I know it's still early days in this Group B table, but we could just see a little bit of table separation where you have the top 2 players on 4 and then everybody else chasing their tail down the bottom.
Here we go again.
140.
Just going to get cracking where we left off, really. Scratch that first game where
55.
we saw 25 darts missed at a double over the course of the 2 players. The doubling since then has been out of this world.
140.
It's not just Turner. It's other people as well. Jakes, 4 from 7. Gerbavc, 3 from 6. In defeat to Turner. Everybody's turned up since about 20 past 10.
Well, it's been one of those groups where everybody's played their part. Even Thomas Banks, who's played 2, lost 2, has had some real good moments. He could have beaten Peter Jakes with 104 average or thereabouts if he pinned his match start at the bullseye.
72. Peter, you require 81.
Jakes is doing it again. Romeo started this game with a maximum. He's already behind.
Hat-trick of 140s here has given Peter Jakes an opportunity for a 12-darter.
55.
But double 13 doesn't go. But because of the slip with his last dart of the previous visit, he's left himself for the 3-darter, has the Croatian.
67.
And he's missed the solitary
Peter, you
dart
require 26.
that he had at double 16.
Game shot on the
And
first
Peter
leg.
doesn't miss
Peter
again.
Jakes.
This could be a very good night for Yorkshire if they keep playing this way.
On.
They've got to play each other in game number 8, Peter and Martin. What on earth could they serve up in that match?
97.
This could be a frustrating night for Romeo if he doesn't get a hold of it. Because he's playing well. But he's being beaten to the line. I think he's getting a bit of a rude awakening as to how difficult Group B can be.
Well, both him and Thomas Banks, there is a real potential that they head back to the practice room midway through the night and have the same head scratcher.
60.
Romeo did not do much wrong in his game against Martin Turner. Average in excess of 90, 50% on his doubles, had a Tub Plus checkout, had a couple of maxis. He was just beaten by
80.
a man who was scoring well and was finishing like a demon. And in fairness, that was exactly what Peter Jakes did against Thomas Banks. 3-1 down, took out 2 Tub Plus checkouts
80.
to win in 7th.
That's how darts is sometimes, you know. You get days where you can't finish your dinner. And then other days, you find yourself
100.
in really good situations, leaving doubles that you genuinely like more than others. And you just keep hitting them.
140. Peter, you require 164.
Should try and clean up the 64 or more. He's done more.
124.
Serious
Romeo, you
pressure
require 84.
on Gerbavc now. Double 11. Great recovery.
Game shot in the second leg.
And boy, did he
Romeo
need that.
Gerbavc.
He misses that. He's 2-0 down.
Some of the clutch finishing this
Third
evening
leg is Romeo to throw first. Game on.
has been off the Richter scale. Nerveless stuff
180.
from the superb Croat.
Can't be surprised by this. After a couple of legs, he's well north of 100 average-wise.
54.
But he's had the 2 best performances of the week so far.
44.
He's also had an average of 70. That was in a win. It was a strange game. And something that Matthew Edgar talks about a lot when he's here, it's the
81.
range of performance from top to bottom. With Gerbavc this week, the range is nearly 40 points.
39.
That is something that will need to change. It needs to be somewhere in the region of 20.
$140.
I don't think the range of Jake's is going to be very much at all. I think it'll be less than 10.
Peter Jakes is that typical player you see in every single corner of the country. Like a Johnny Haynes in the Southwest. Somebody that is so good in their region. You just know
45.
that when he steps up on a stage,
100.
he's going to play well. But maybe he hasn't had the success at international level. He is a fully fledged international.
80.
And he has 6 starts to open up a 2-1 lead, and he's going to need the full quota.
$170.
Just in case, I'll leave myself 11. But yet again, he's in the rear view mirror. He doesn't get a shot this time. I think that came out of Romeo's hand slightly wrong, but it's found the mark.
4th leg, it's Peter to throw first. Game on.
Doesn't matter how, as long as you do. And Gerbavc is 2-1 to the good. But Peter Jakes has been in this position
68.
of adversity already this evening and has come out the other side the victor.
Somebody earlier this week
140.
sent me a communication and said, Romeo actually looks like somebody very famous. And they said, Volodymyr Zelensky.
58.
I don't know if I can say that or not.
I don't think this is the appropriate week to be
45.
mixing politics with sport. Anyway, if you can trump that, then please do let us know.
78.
And the tumbleweed has passed.
43.
I think there's a word in the English language to describe Jakes. Plucky.
100.
And yes, I said plucky, not lucky. What plucky means is
134.
hard to get rid of, always hard working, and somewhat understated.
He's one of those players that if he
59.
gets beat,
Romeo require
he gets beat because
139.
somebody else has done something right.
Correct. And Gerbavc is doing things right
101.
in this
Peter
game.
require 138.
What a great first start that is. Double 12. Oh, for heaven's
Games
sake,
11,
Peter.
4th leg, Peter J.
That's an outrageous finish. Proving every word we've
Fifth
said
leg, it's Romeo
over the
to
course of
throw
the night.
first.
Peter
Game
Jakes
on.
is a monster sometimes. And when he comes to Portsmouth, he just turns into a different beast.
57.
Understated, underestimated
100.
sometimes. But he is too good for those words to be labelled at the door. And maybe when he did win his week,
41.
because of the calibre of players that were in the competition, maybe he was seen as a little bit of an under-the-radar winner, particularly when Robert Thornton was winning World Seniors titles
60.
and picking up titles left, right and centre at the time. But the level he played at that week was good enough to play in the Group A of that Champions Week.
137.
He then got through to a final where he only lost the eventual series champion in Raymond Smith in that particular attempt. As you mentioned, a former Pro Tour finalist.
139.
This is a guy who has got serious gears to his game.
134.
Need I remind you who he beat in the semi-finals to get that game against Raymond Smith? He beat Ben Robb, who this year has been a long-time standing WDF #1.
170.
Oh, look at that!
Romeo require 132.
Now Romeo needs the ball. At the end? Doesn't even get a shot at it. And he's been under the same kind of pressure that Andy Bolton was against Turner in the previous game.
That's the second time Peter Jakes has hit a 170 on approach. That's a 14 darter.
Peter Jakes.
That's a breaker throw. And that sees Peter Jakes into the ascendancy. And he now has the darts to make it 2 wins from 2. And so far, it has been a night all about Yorkshire.
100.
Martin and Peter are finishing so well tonight that if we walked up to both of them and asked them to complete a quadruple axel, they'd probably land it. This is amazing darts from 2 of Yorkshire's finest senior players.
100.
He's not over the line yet, though, but he's got Romeo needing
100.
a burst that is not purple. It needs to be white hot.
Well, we had a text from our good friend here at the Super Series, Scott Gibbling.
140.
Who is one of the best chalkers, perhaps one of the all-time best chalkers has ever been. And
did you just call Scott Gibbling a chalker?
PG require
You're about to get another message, by the way.
6 darts for the match for what he tells us was the postie. And he is delivering in spades here is 41. Peter Jakes.
He's not the only postie who's been good at darts. I'll give you 2 other examples. Raymond van Barneveld and Joe Cullen.
100. Peter, you require 120.
I'm surprised he's not wearing shorts this evening. This is for the match. And this is for a second 120 finish of the night. His 4th top plus finish of the night.
Romeo,
and it was a width of a wire away.
Just for a second, we were getting excited, but Jakes might have the extinguisher in hand.
The Right Rose is running riot on this Thursday night. Peter Jakes joins his fellow countyman Martin Turner on 4 points, on maximum points in this Group B. He gets the better of Romeo Gerbavc by 4 legs to 2. On average, just under 98 in the end, 4 from 7 on the doubles, including that 138 checkout, which, if the truth be told, was the changing point of that contest. He almost won it for a 120 finish. It would have been his 2nd of the evening, but he'll take 2 wins from 2. We're going to take a short break. When we return, we'll dissect the evening's action in the studio, and then Game 6 is a meeting of Thomas Banks and Martin Turner.
Hang on a minute.
Wow! Oh my God! Amazing! Well, that's £100 down the drain already.
Itching to hit the 180.
He's gone for the maximum.
18 for the bull. Bull.
53.
No, he said bull. That's a great first start from Adam. Oh, look at this. He's going to leave Scape.
Oh, can you believe it? That is unbelievable. Get match darts to put his team into the final. And through to the final they go. Charlie Murphy has hit the match-winning dart on both occasions. Number 4 for the title.
Game shot out the mat. Please show your appreciation for the winner of the Influencer Pairs event, George Scaife and Adam Lipscomb.
He seems to be out. That's what he is. Charlie Murphy. A couple more visits yet. We're not going to need that.
Oh, Bosh.
Pie Face is through. He gets
And he's
there.
absolutely buzzing.
It was a game that Pie Face dominated throughout.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where so far it's been a superb night for Yorkshire. Martin Turner and Peter Jakes both on 4 points, both winning their opening 2 matches of the session. Andy Bolton, the only other player to have picked up a win this evening. Romeo Gerbavc and Thomas Banks with a lot of work to do towards the latter ends of the evening session. We've been watching all of the action this evening in the company of the asset Paul Nicholson. We have to begin with the 2 players from Yorkshire first and foremost. They're the top 2. They're the 2 that have the perfect records in this Group B. Let's kick off with Martin Turner, because it's felt like so far this evening, this has been the best he's played here at the Live Lounge.
Unquestionably. I think there can't have been many times over the last couple of years where Martin's had 2 back-to-back games where he's finished as impressively as this. He's looked assured, he's looked confident, and he's had 2 very established opponents on the rack, and he has got rid of them quickly. And if he replicates what he's done in the first half and the second half tonight, I can see him making his first Saturday appearance come 36 hours' time.
Dancing with delight, Martin Turner, top of the group. He's joined alongside his fellow Yorkshireman Peter Jakes. It's been a while since we've seen him. It's actually been a couple of years since he's played here at the Live Lounge. It's like he's never been away.
If anything, he's got better because his finishing, it might not be to the same percentage as Martin, but yeah, we had question marks over Peter because we didn't have a great deal of information as to what he's been doing. But boy, oh boy, so impressive. That 138, how good was that? Especially when you're playing someone who has had 290 averages tonight in Romeo Gerbavc. He's had 4 maximums, and they're spread over the 2 games, 2 maximums per match. He's played well. He hasn't got any points. So welcome to Group B.
Well, he also had that game against Thomas where he had a similar situation, didn't he, where Thomas missed the match start, and then Peter Jakes goes on and then he takes out that 120 finish. You can see it there, brings it back to 3-2, and then just completely takes control of the game from that point onwards. Thomas never had another match start, never had a look in the game.
Exactly. Jakes is the kind of player, I've already said it, he's very hard to dispose of. He just has this terrier spirit. And if you give him a little bit of a sniff, he'll say, right, okay, I'm going to work with this. And as far as Thomas Banks is concerned, he didn't know at the time, but we always threaten that if you have a shot like that 87, that may be the only shot you get in a very short format of this sport. So it was the only shot that he got, and GXE after that was just too good.
What about Andy Bolton this evening? I feel like we say the same thing about Andy all the time. We know what kind of level he's going to play at, but has he had that sharpness this evening in comparison to other days this week?
I'm going to say yes, but I think his second game that he lost, I think he capitulated maybe the tiniest bit, but that wasn't necessarily his fault because he was put under so much pressure by his opponent, and that will happen every now and again. I think Andy will be happy to be in the middle of the pack. So you've got the 2 Yorkshiremen who are playing exceptional darts, and the two at the bottom who have not played poorly and haven't got any points, it's almost as if Andy is in the middle saying, I'm just going to do enough to get through, but if he finds himself up against the Yorkshire players later in this group and finding himself under pressure again, he might have to find something else, the way he didn't in his second match tonight.
Right, we're going to pause talking about this week for now and give you a glance as to what we're going to be watching next week here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. This is the list of players for Week 10. We're going to see Reece Robinson, a man who's made a couple of Champions Weeks in the past. Richie Burnett, who's still waiting for that first weekly title. But I'm already looking at a game in Group A. Richie Burnett against Johan Brouwer. Sign me up, Nico.
Well, yeah, that is something else, but I'm looking elsewhere. That, for me, all week, with all due respect to the likes of former weekly winners like Adam Mould and Reece Robinson and Białecki, yes, you've got the Burnett and Brouwer situation. Nico Springer.
What a year he's had.
It's about time, and it's going to be the only time, because he's won a tour card, so we've waited 2 years to get this young German here. He's exceptional. I would not be shocked to see him win next week.
You've commentated on him during his Pro Tour appearances in 2024. What would you say is the key strengths and the key attributes towards his game?
He's just so focused. He's got a great level of ability. He's got a very unique action as well. It's very up and down. But the thing about Nico is that he loves to play under pressure. He's had arguably the greatest 9-darter ever, because when he was playing against Manfred Bildel, there wasn't a dart missed in the entire leg. It was amazing. But Nico is one of the best dart players in Germany, and the world might find out how good he is in the next 2 years.
And that action gets underway Monday morning from 9:30 on the Super Series YouTube channel. Into the second half of our evening here, though, we go, and it sees Thomas Banks in action. He won his week the last time he was here at the Live Lounge, and we're going to see a fair bit of him between now and the end of 2024. He's going to be here next week for the Tour Championship finals. He's going to be here in December for the Global Championship, and if you're lucky enough, you may be able to see one of the stars of the future in action right now. And the Live Lounge in Portsmouth is the destination to be this December. We will have the ADC Global Championship, which will feature Thomas Banks. He's going to be in action in the first week of competition. He's hoping to be throwing the first dart, and he will throw the first dart as well as the number one seed of that competition. And he'll be hoping to throw the last dart of the competition on Sunday, December the 22nd. But before that, he has plenty more big darts to throw. This week at the Super Series, at the Tour Championship finals a week Saturday. But if he's going to be playing this Saturday, he may need to get a wiggle on tonight, because he's 2 defeats from 2 so far this evening. A 4-1 loss to Andy Bolton, coupled up with a 4-3 defeat to Peter Jakes. A game in which he led by 3 legs to 1. And he takes on the unbeaten Martin Turner. who has been, if the
96.
truth be told, a real revelation this evening.
2 games in, better than we've ever seen him play here. Albeit,
97.
he has had a better individual average on this stage. His personal best is 100.1.
180.
But I suppose if you're Thomas Banks
60.
and you want to get your first 2 points at Martin's expense, he could just go into that mould that we see from these young players, the I'm going to blow you off the board
65.
mode. He might even need to do that. Get in front and deny Martin opportunities at double.
85.
It sounds
Thomas,
so
you require
simple.
160.
But all Thomas has to do, apart from hitting tops,
120.
well, that worked out pretty well, actually. He could have bust that. Restrict Martin to 3 darts at double in the match. That's his job.
139. Thomas, you require 40.
Well, this has been the Achilles heel of Thomas
Game
Banks
shot in
all
the first
evening.
leg.
But he
Thomas
kicks
Banks.
off a 14 dart. He had a real steely look in the eye as he came back down the hockey
Second
after
leg,
taking
it's
out
Martin
leg
to
one.
throw first. Game on.
The Bulldog has got the bit between his teeth. Why has tonight got a bit of a dog feel to it?
135.
You've got the Bulldog, the Terrier, and the Mutt's Nuts.
134.
You'll actually find Martin's nickname on a Korean menu.
85.
But there is a dog feeling about tonight.
99.
There's a lot of dog-related nicknames in sport. There's a lot of snake nicknames in darts.
100. Martin, you require 167.
But this might just be a dog fight.
97.
There's perhaps an irony because Martin Turner was not meant to play this week. He's actually coming as a replacement for Scotty Dog Mitchell, who's playing at the
84.
senior tomorrow
Martin, you
and takes
require
on John
70.
Henderson.
Double 16.
Game shot
And
in the
here we
second
go
leg.
again.
Martin Turner.
Tonight just feels like big match after
Third
big
leg,
match
it's Thomas
after
to
big
throw
match.
first. Game on.
Big moment after big moment. And these two trading blows, level at 1-1.
100.
This is some run that Martin's on.
100.
It's not very often
100.
in your entire career that you have bolts out of the blue like this when it comes to finishing.
140.
He is 9 from 11 tonight. Very rarely will you see that.
100.
He must be feeling so confident right now.
91.
And he's scoring well also. It's not as if he's just steady on the approaches.
177. Martin, you require 170.
He's scoring really well. Oh, hold the phone. Bullseye!
124. Thomas, you
If
require
he'd hit that-
24.
That would have been ridiculous.
Game
Well done,
shot in
Thomas.
the third leg. Thomas Banks.
You've restricted Martin to 2 darts at a double so far, and you are 2-1 in front.
Fourth leg, it's Martin to
What a
throw
standard,
first.
what a
Game on.
contest. Every single leg in this match has been won in 5 visits. A couple of 14s for Banks, a 15 darter
91.
for Martin Turner. It's the young man from Hertfordshire who leads by 2 legs to 1.
100.
Yeah, Thomas is 2-1 up. But let's say he takes this leg as well. He'll be in the same position that he was in against Peter Jakes.
85.
And we know what happened there. He had 1 dart for the match and didn't win it.
Now, we have seen players
45.
played by mistakes of the past, and it comes back to haunt them again. We saw earlier on this afternoon with David Evans, who had twice led 3-0 in a game and let that lead slip on both
45.
occasions.
I think Dave and Thomas are in slightly different positions in their career.
97.
Slightly different challenges. But to Dave's credit, he did win his last match today. So he goes into
60.
Friday darts with a win under his belt.
Yeah.
He did have options there, but my word, what a dart that is. There was a gap there. It wasn't even as wide as his barrel, but he has forced it through.
140.
And the 19s again could yield a shot to take like 4.
So they're able to take out the
126.
1-2-6. And how many times this evening has Martin Turner picked apart a finish like this? One dart in hand, last dart in hand,
40.
but
Thomas,
this time tops does
68.
not go.
Double 16.
36.
Oh, I bet that
Martin,
looked
you
good.
require 40.
That missed by the finest of margins. Now he's starting to
Thomas, you
miss,
require
and Banks has got to
32.
get on top of this. This is a huge opportunity.
Mammoth dart, mammoth
Game show in the
fight.
fourth leg. Thomas Banks.
For the first time this evening, Martin Turner has missed a visit's worth of darts at a double. Banks has capitalised and
Fifth leg,
capitalised
it's
to the
Thomas to
hilt.
throw first.
He's got the break of
Game
throw.
on.
He leads 3-1 and has the darts to pick up his first win, and as a consequence, inflict a first
59.
defeat of the evening upon Martin Turner. And suddenly what that does in terms of the qualification race is it just congeals this
45.
Group B somewhat.
Have you thought about the possibility of the Week 9 final
140.
being between two 18-year-olds? Could be Jensen Walker versus Thomas Banks.
100.
Is there any reason why that can't happen?
Absolutely not. But one thing I will say is I hope that that is a final that is built for the
162.
quality of them two as players. Because I do think that there's a severe worry that actually sometimes the brilliance of these players could be overshadowed by
100.
other
Thomas, you require
factors.
140.
But this is for the match, for a 4-1 win, and to cap off what has been a marvellous performance.
62.
It really has been good. Had an 82 average in his first game. Almost a 95
Thomas, you require
in his next
78.
game. This is also a 95. And this is a chance to win by 4-1.
Game shot.
Third
and the
time
match, Thomas
is the
Banks.
charm for Thomas Banks. He gets the better of Martin Turner by 4-1. A really good performance there from the Bulldog. An average in excess of 95. The finishing much improved, 40% in the end. And the winning legs were very good as well. A couple of 14s, a 15 darter to finish off. It was just a really good quality contest. On the other side of the coin, Martin Turner has tasted defeat for the first time this evening. His perfect start comes to an end, and we now head towards the middle portion of the table for our 7th encounter of the evening. Andy Bolton and Romeo Gerbavc have already gone toe-to-toe 3 times in Group A. They meet for the first time in Group B on the other side of this short break. Welcome back to the live lounge here in Portsmouth, where the spotlight is on Andy Bolton and Romeo Gerbavc, two players who are looking to progress up this Group B table, and defeat could well be catastrophic for one or the other. For Romeo, he's now the only player without a point to his name. 2 defeats of 2 up against Andy Bolton, who kick-started his night perfectly. He got the better with Thomas Banks by 4 legs to 1. But then lost out to a superb performance by Martin Turner in his second game of the evening. As far as Romeo is concerned, 4-3 defeats to Martin and to
First
Peter. He's
leg
been
is
hit by the Yorkshire
first.
Bug so
Game
far this
on.
evening. And perhaps familiarity could well be a blanket of comfort for the Croat, because this meeting has yielded a lot of success for Gerbavc so far this week.
100.
You just made me giggle, Henry. I keep thinking of a Yorkshire bug. I can imagine it biting you in the middle of the summer saying, can I have some gravy with that? But this is a fixture that has been filled with nightmares
140.
for Andy this week. He's played Romeo 3 times and lost 3 times.
140.
Now that Thomas Banks is off the mark, Romeo's trying to do the same. And if he does that, this group could not be
140.
tighter. All of a sudden, Peter Jakes looks like the danger man. He's got 2 more games to go against
134,
Turner and Bolton.
121.
Things could be congested, or Jakes could find himself very much towards the top. Look at
Games on
that
the
from
first
Andy with a
leg,
jiggle.
Andy Bolton.
Love it. Enjoyed it. It's respected.
Second leg.
And
is
he
Romeo
knows
to
now
throw
that this is a
first.
time to
Game
turn
on.
things on a bit.
Well, today has been a day all about big ton plus finishing. 7 we have
99.
seen at the beginning of our 7th match of the evening session. And that was on top of 11 earlier on
140.
this afternoon in Group C.
That's a serious amount, isn't it? We've seen a lot of different days. The double days on Thursdays and
140.
Fridays. And indeed, you got a 3rd double day this week because you got the WADC Championship Tour finals on Saturday afternoon and the finals on Saturday night. However,
99.
to see that many ton plus finishes with still 3.5 games to go in a day, that is slightly off the scale.
92.
If you think that Andy doesn't care that he's lost 3 times to Gerbavc this week,
98.
think
Romeo, you require
again.
170.
he will have a memory that is very vivid. Thinking about getting one back
130.
on the
Andy, you require
Croatian.
164.
He is like a goldfish when it comes to memories of previous events within the sport. In fact, he was telling Martin Turner in the practice room earlier on this evening about every small intrinsic part of the
60.
lakeside
Romeo, you
ahead of his
require
appearance in a
40.
couple of weeks' time. Well, that's a 14
Games on in the
darter,
second
and we
leg.
have a level
Romeo
game.
Gerbavc.
We expected a high-quality contest. We've got a high-quality contest. Both
Third leg
players
is Andy to
averaging
throw
way in
first.
excess of a ton
Game on.
in the early portion of this contest. 1-1.
As we get closer to Lakeside, Henry, we're going to have to tell that famous Lindsay Hipgrave story about the picture.
134.
Bobby Davro.
That was freaky, wasn't it?
Oh, tell me.
44.
That's for another time.
Yes.
But that will definitely be told after 9 o'clock. Because it's not for young ears.
97.
Put it this way, it gave a few sleepless nights.
And that was just you doing karaoke.
85.
That's another story.
Yeah, I don't think I was Chris Murphy's best friend that week.
If you're going to do karaoke, do it with Andy. He can definitely do it. That's why it's called X Factor.
180.
And there's more evidence of what he can do on a dartboard. This is outrageous from Andy.
97.
I'm not going
Andy,
to talk
you require
about his
90.
average right now, but this is A grade, A5 Wagyu Andy Bolton.
50.
Well, if you're not going to say it, I will. Prior to that visit, Andy Bolton was averaging 119 on the nose.
45. Andy, you require 40.
Something really special happening tonight.
Game shot
And that
the
is a
third
2-1
leg,
lead
Andy
in 14
Bolton.
darts. The first game of the night, Bolton won with an
Fourth leg is
84.37
Romeo to
average
throw
against
first.
Banks,
Game on.
who averaged just under 82. Since then, every player has averaged more than 90
55.
in every match. This game is no different.
It's been a vintage evening of arrows here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth.
94.
One of the best evenings you could argue we've had here at the Live Lounge. I know it's very easy to say things like that, but the stats so far tonight back that up. We haven't had a
140.
ton plus average this evening, but the overall stat of the play, quite literally this evening, has been night and day compared to this afternoon, because everybody
140.
in Group C earlier on today were averaging in the 80s. Well, tonight, everybody's averaging into the 90s. It's like a generational gap in terms of averages.
96.
This afternoon had its own charm, though. Tonight, just a very different group of players.
85.
I think that's one of the reasons why Romeo is struggling to find points, because the quality of this group,
174.
it's something better than Group A as well. And that was a really good group. He's just had another perfect approach.
100.
If he doesn't hit it,
Romeo, you require
he runs the
36.
risk of being 2 behind. Constantly under pressure. And he
Game
doesn't
shot
wilt.
And the fourth leg, Romeo Gerbavc.
Well, this has been a magnificent game. Bolton 2, Gerbavc
This leg
2.
is Andy to throw
Bolton
first.
still averaging
Game on.
109. Gerbavac's averaging 96. And he has had to chase the tail of this man all match long.
You know what? I don't know much
140.
about the former Yugoslavia. I don't know much about all of the separate nations that came about after what happened in the 90s.
45.
But I do know one thing. They do like their barbecued meat in that part of the world. And right now, Romeo Gerbavc is about as resilient
101.
as a Yugoslavian chevaps.
It's
Basically a barbecued rissole.
Well, that resilience is paying dividends. But even with that maximum turn, Bolton piles in a
140.
two-treble turn, leaves himself on a makeable finish after 9, and tells Romeo that all the hard work you did in the previous leg, you're going to have to do
85.
again.
Andy,
He's
you require
unable to do so.
120.
And so Bolton has 6 to open up a 3-2 lead. It's going to need the full quota.
60.
Gerbavc could leave him, or could have conceivably left himself on a double after 12 and not got a shot at this leg.
59. Andy, you require 60.
I think there was a play on the ball with the last start. Didn't make
Game
any
shot and the
difference.
fifth leg, Andy Bolton.
Seriously good game. Romeo's thinking, what have I got to do to get some points in this
Sixth
group?
leg, it's Romeo to throw first. Game on.
Well, that is world class. It's world class for both.
Romeo's averages tonight,
100.
90.49. 90.74. He's raised it by 5 points in this game, and he's on the verge of defeat again.
96.
If he was playing in Group C this afternoon, he'd be cruising.
Well, the only thing he's cruising for right now is a bruising in this group. Well, this is the leg by leg
99.
in this game. Every single leg has been won in 15 or better. In fact, The 15 darter of Romeo Gerbavc to make it 2-2 is the worst leg of the match.
100.
That would not be out of place in a top-level Grand Slam match this weekend, or a World Championship, or anywhere in the world. This is a world-class match.
132.
What was it John Park says when he's in commentary? Really good games are determined by the fact that nobody bridges that 5-visit gap.
78.
And it doesn't look like that's going to happen in this leg either.
170. $63.
I don't necessarily see the benefit of going for the bullseye with the last start there.
100.
He wanted just one more treble to leave himself on 87. He's going to get a look. And if Bolton takes out the 127 in game,
127.
he confines Gerbavc to the bottom of the table and the only player who has no points. That's right in the middle. Now he needs double 8.
But he's unable to muster the look of anguish on the face of Andy Bolton. When that left his hand, he thought that was in. But he may be forced to go all the way. But Gerbavc has missed 2 opportunities to enforce a decider.
When he missed that double 8, he was like a T-Rex. Really angry. He's not angry anymore.
And the match, Andy Bolton.
That is a sensational performance from X Factor. What are people doing against Romeo tonight? They see the danger all of a sudden, and they're all raising their game against the Croatian. The best performance of the week for Bolton by over 4 points. And 50% on the doubles with the 1-2-1 as well. That really was almost a complete performance. And Gerbavc, who has lost 3 out of 3 tonight, is in table trouble. When we come back, if you like a Yorkshire derby, you've come to the right place. It'll be Turner against PJ.
Hang on a minute.
Wow! Oh my God! Well, that's £100 down the drain already.
Itching to hit the 180.
He's gone for the maximum.
18 for the bull. Bull.
53.
No, he said bull. That's a great first start from Adam. Oh, look at this. He's going to leave Scape.
Oh, can you believe it? That is unbelievable. Get match starts to put his team into the final. And through to the final they go. Charlie Murphy has hit the match-winning dart on both occasions. Double 4 for the title.
Game shot out of the match. Please show your appreciation for the winner of the Influencer Pairs event, George Scaife and Adam Lipscomb.
He seems to be out, that's what he is, Charlie Murphy. A couple more visits yet. We're not going to need that.
Bosh.
Pie face is through, he gets
And
there
he's
in the end.
absolutely buzzing.
It was a game that pie face dominated throughout.
Welcome back to the live lounge. And as we go past the midnight hour, we just can't get enough of what we've seen tonight. We've seen 7 completed games, and 6 of them have included 90-plus averages in all parts of those games, from the winners and losers. And now we have someone who's averaged in 3 figures. Andy Bolton with a statement performance against Romeo Gerbavc.
Martin to throw first. Game on.
And his first win of the week against the Croatian, which puts the man who lives in Germany in real trouble. But this is a Yorkshire derby.
139.
And by what we've seen so far tonight, Henry, this could deliver just as much quality as we've seen throughout the evening.
It absolutely could.
59.
2 players that perhaps at the beginning of the evening weren't being taught up. Perhaps the 2 players that were taught up the least. But they are the 2 that have
100.
been providing the goods so far as this Thursday night moves into a Friday morning. And Peter, remember, has to play 2 of the last 3 games of the session. He takes
45.
on Andy Bolton at the end of the night's programme. And this is the toughest shift of any player at the live lane. When you've got to play
92.
game 8 and you've got to play game 10 of an evening.
And then he switched things around and he's got to play game 1 and game 3 of Friday night. So technically,
99. Martin, you require 170.
he's going to play the majority of his games on
94.
Friday in this group. 2 in the early hours, and then 3 later, and his final game will be around midnight, maybe slightly past it,
140. Martin, you
come
require 76.
Saturday morning. So it's crunch time for Jakes. It's tops.
56.
And
Peter,
Turner
you require 158.
is really starting to miss over his last couple of matches. Not again. Not again.
98. Martin, you require 20.
The 158 would have been the biggest of the lot for Peter Jakes. He's had 3 ton plus checkouts already this evening. Big dart this for Martin Turner, who've been pretty much perfect on his doubles
Low
all evening
score.
long. But the
Peter, you
misses are
require
becoming
60.
apparent and the opportunities are beginning to open up. And Peter Jakes here looking to take full advantage.
20.
But is unable to
Martin,
do
you
so.
require 20.
A let-off, a reprieve for the Mutts Nuts, who
Game
managed
set
to
in the first
eventually
leg,
get over the
Martin
line
Turner.
to take home the first leg of this contest.
Second leg, it's Peter to throw first. Game on.
These 2 would have played each other so many times over the years. Maybe not as much in terms of recorded action and recorded competitions,
40.
but they would have passed each other so many times on the Yorkshire circuit. Cross paths on so many occasions that
100.
there will be no secrets about each other's games. They'll know everything inside out about one another.
Sometimes that's a good thing. Better the devil you know than the devil you don't.
85.
But Yorkshire is one of the biggest areas for darts in all of Europe.
60.
The heritage, it's decades old. If you think about it, the Indoor League,
100.
which was something broadcast in the 1970s, it was fronted by Fred Truman, famous cricketer.
85.
It was the brainchild of Sid Waddell, wasn't it? And that was all about Yorkshire. It was actually broadcast on Yorkshire TV.
54.
And Yorkshire TV was actually where the Quadro Board tournament was broadcast for a couple of years. And we saw a mini competition on that Quadro Board last week. Although Owen Binks cheated everyone.
58.
And on social media
Martin, you
today,
require
Daryl Pilgrim's been
116.
showing us how difficult it actually is to get a 240. How difficult is it to hit a 16, Martin?
84. PT, you require 164.
Peter's been limited to opportunities like this. He might take it, though. Oh, come on.
Jason in the second leg, Peter J.
Are you having a laugh? What more
Third
can you
leg,
say
it's
about
Martin
this
to throw
guy?
First. Game on.
He's like sand in your socks. He's impossible to get rid of. That's a 138 and a 164, both with 2 treble 19s
55.
tonight. Absolutely immense from Jakesy.
Well, that one was the best of the lot. That's his 4th ton plus checkout of the evening. And he's only halfway through his
41.
evening so far. He's only played 2 and a bit matches. But it was a moment of divine inspiration that he needed because
55.
Turner was sat on double 16 to open up a 2-0 lead. And if the truth be told, in this game, Peter Jakes has not been playing very well. That could be the moment where his fortunes completely change.
99.
Because he was nowhere in that previous leg. And suddenly we have a level match on our hands.
137.
He was both nowhere and everywhere at the same time. It's a bit of a riddle, isn't it?
It's also a Blink 42 track.
100.
I thought you were up with all of their bad knowledge.
They're awful.
140.
Now, they're a bit soft for my taste. Look at this. And yet again, he's gone from being
140.
behind
Martin, you got 114.
to getting himself back in the leg. Turner doesn't take his ton plus check out.
86.
And
PT, you
this is
require
immeasurably
121.
easier than a 164. But it's impossible now.
He can only apply the pressure.
81.
However,
Martin, you require 28.
Martin Turner, who'd been 4 for 5 on his doubles in each of his opening 2 games,
Game
is
shot in the
missing more
third
than he
leg,
has done at
Martin
any other
Turner.
point in the evening. But he doesn't make a mistake on that double 14, and he moves 2-1
Fourth
to the
leg is
good.
Peter to throw first. Game on.
If Martin was to win this match and walk away with 6 points for tonight, how would you grade him? And I'm going to ask you to do it in the old
100.
school way, just so I can understand it. None of this number nonsense. Give me A to F.
140.
Ironically, I was in the era of grade A, B.
Answer the question.
Martin Turner, this is. If
Yes.
he walks away 4 points. 6 points, sorry. I think I'd give him an A
100.
minus.
I'd agree with that.
Although I'd be having a nosebleed if I was talking about A grades.
100.
Why?
Because I was nowhere near an A grade student.
Well, things didn't turn out that badly.
140.
Oh, it's wonderful.
131. Peter, you require 161.
Is that a chance to get to 3-1? It is now.
59.
Well, I
Martin, you
think
require
that Peter should have gone for the
130.
bullseye with the last start. Last start at the bullseye for Turner.
105.
He
You require
scared that
102.
and then some. However, there's been no player more likely to take out a ton plus checkout than the Terrier.
86.
And he missed
Martin, you
double
require
16
25.
there for a 5th of the evening. And it could be broken.
That will sting a bit.
17.
The emotions of a
Peter, you
dart
require
player
16.
over the course of 2 darts there. The hope, the miss, double 2. And it had to be the
Game shot
third
and the
dart,
fourth
didn't it? It's
leg, Peter
2-2.
Jakes.
For all the ton plus finishes that he has hit at opponents,
Fifth leg,
That
it's
might be the
Martin to
double
throw
that Peter
first.
Jakes has
Game
hit
on.
that may hurt an opponent the most tonight.
Do you know what used to hurt Peter a lot?
100.
When he used to go to European Tour events and people would say his name wrong. I think that's one of the reasons why he has his nickname on the front of his shirt
58.
done somewhat phonetically. Because he can't stand it when people get his name wrong.
97.
I admit, when I first learned about Peter, I didn't know how to say his name either. But he's not the only sports person who has actually got the name of Jakes.
81.
Because Phil Jakes, the Australian cricketer, he's got the same pronunciation but a different spelling.
28.
Well, he was definitely nicknamed Jakesy.
$140.
I'm saying nothing about that. I'll let Damon Hatter have a word with you.
60.
Jake's here, back in real time. He's got 6 starts from, ironically, the Richie Benno score, 2-2-2 to make it 3-2. And ironically, the score is 2-2 in this
58.
match. He was the greatest to ever do it, Richie Benno.
Cricket commentator.
Yep.
I can't disagree with you.
40. PT require 164.
He was a great leg spinner as well back in his day. We're not going to get a second one.
89.
That would have been rather
Martin requires
ludicrous.
76.
But look at the moment that we've got in front of us now.
56.
That could be
PTU
really
requires
vital.
75.
Jakes now has ambitions of winning this game and setting up a potential 8-point evening. 6.
Game shot. and
He
the fifth
is
leg,
just
Peter
very,
Jakes.
very lethal.
Well, that passage of play had a similar feeling to that he had in a game
Sixth
against
leg,
Thomas
it's
Banks
Peter
earlier
to
on
throw
this evening,
first. Game
where his
on.
opponent had an opportunity to really take charge of a contest. In Thomas Banks's game, it was for him to win the match. For Martin Turner was to put himself a leg away from winning the
100.
contest. But then Peter Jakes takes out something clutch, and now you feel like it's his game. It's his game at his mercy.
100.
And this would be for 3 wins and 3. And he'd have a match against Andy Bolton at the end of tonight's programme to complete the card on his comeback night.
140.
Imagine if Jakes was to go on and win this week. Because him making the final, it's something that wouldn't necessarily be out of the ordinary.
180.
But this game isn't over yet, remember? I assume, without looking at the record books, that if he was to win Series 9
96.
Week 9 after winning Series 1 Week 11, that would be the biggest gap
100.
between 2 weekly wins.
Yes. The longest gap is actually now attained by John Henderson, who won Series 2 Week 12 and then won Series 9 Week 7. 7 series is the biggest gap between first and
57.
second
Martin, you
success.
require 121.
No shot at the bull.
41.
And Jakes
PTU require
is
108.
back for another ton topper to put this contest to bed. He didn't have to go 57 there. He could have gone 51.
Martin Turner's going to get another opportunity to save this contest. He may only
40.
get one dart
Martin, you
at
require
tops.
80.
But you get the sense the way Peter Jakes has been finishing. He's going to have to hit this dart at
Game
tops.
shot
And
the sixth
he
leg,
does.
Martin Turner.
And we go all the way. This Yorkshire Derby has a 7th and deciding leg. And if we know
final
one
leg
thing
is
about
Martin
a couple
to
of
throw
Yorkshiremen,
first.
they
Game
do like
on.
getting value for money.
$85.
You may want to be careful what you say. Your boss is from Yorkshire. Got to be really careful what you say. Yorkshire people are always watching this programme.
Don't worry, I don't think that said boss is going to put me any further down in his estimation anyway.
140.
If we played word association and I just said Yorkshire, the first word I would associate with that county is grit.
80.
That's the quality, by the way. It's not the gravel.
85.
It's definitely up there with the proudest counties in the country. Comes from the working class heyday of the 50s, 60s and 70s, and of course the
135.
Industrial Revolution. Incredible history in that county, whether it's North,
100.
East Riding, West Yorkshire, South Yorkshire. And you think about Peter Jakes, for instance. He lives in Denbydale. He's not even the most famous person who lives in Denbydale.
96.
That's where Rod
Martin, you
Studd
require
lives.
91.
For the match. He had trailed in this contest, but that double
Game shot
14
and
has
the
won
match,
it for
Martin
Martin Turner.
Turner.
And that is a big win because that ends his night on 6 points. At times, he has been glistening this evening because Martin Turner. What a return and what a lovely embrace between him and the referee George Baker at the end there. Happy to be here. Wasn't meant to be here. This was meant to be Scott Mitchell's ticket tonight. But Martin Turner has taken advantage of the invite to the opportunity. He has taken it, he has ran with it, and he has won 3 games from 4, and he has denied Peter Jakes the opportunity of going for a perfect night against Andy Bolton in Game 10. Well, coming up after the break, it's the bottom 2 players in the table, and I don't think we thought that we'd be saying that phrase at the beginning of the evening when Romeo Gerbavc takes on Thomas Banks.
Welcome to the party in Portsmouth here at the Modus Live Lounge.
They've both got the talent where they just reel off leg after leg and dish out a heavy defeat. What a way to start the day. We're up and running here on Champions Week with a maximum.
But what a way to finish. A 12-dart leg.
Beautiful check out there from Cam Crabtree. Only needs the one.
Game shot on the second leg. Darius
What were you saying about efficiency?
Shot on the third leg. Reece
Is that
Robinson.
the moment that Reece Robinson comes alive in this crucial clash? Looks like he's going to go for it. And it is right next to his favourite double top. And he gets the job done at the earliest possibility. That is Cam Crabtree through.
Case not so. Harrison gets the all-important win.
Game shot on the second leg. Darius Labanowski. Game shot.
Ross Smith, is it
Darius Labanowski.
a 9? A long time. And that clenched fist.
Game shot. On the
Well,
mark.
he gets the job done in the end. He's nodding in total agreement because
Game shot on the fourth leg.
Just
Darius
like that.
Labanowski.
only needs the one. And there you can see.
That she can unlock at any moment, but that is quality from Harrison. This would be a wake-up.
Welcome to the party in Pompey. Should be a good marker for him. And is. It was a great dive.
Shot on the first leg. Andreas Harrison.
It's a breaker throw for Andreas Harrison.
Shot on the second leg. Cam Crabtree.
Consecutive breaker throw, double 16 is found.
And he does lead. It's not an 11, but it's a beautiful 12, treble 17, which he gets. Bullseye for the win. Absolutely incredible by Andreas Harrison.
He's Andreas Dirty Harrison.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where the stars have been shining brightly on this Thursday evening. We've seen some superb darts, superb entertainment. And for these two, they're the bottom two going into the penultimate game of the evening session. And little did we think that a game between Romeo Gerbavc and Thomas Banks would be a match to determine who brings up the rear in this Group B. For Thomas, he's about to win. He missed a lot of doubles, 14
First
of them.
leg, it's Romeo to throw
In his
first.
opening game against Andy
Game
Bolton.
on.
He then went 3-1 up on Peter Drakes, was averaging in excess of 106 at the time. A goal to lose 4-3. And then picked up that win against Martin Turner, 95, averaging a 4-1 success. Whilst for Romeo Gerbavc, he's averaged in excess of 90 in every single game he's played this evening, but has not picked up a point whatsoever.
83.
If Thomas wins this game and he ends the night on 4 points, he would have rescued what could have been a very dire
140.
situation very, very well. But that would also mean a 4th consecutive defeat for Romeo, whose best case scenario is he is going to be 4 points behind the player in 3rd place in the league table. And that is a long way back on day 2.
130.
It certainly
Romeo
is,
Gerbavc,
considering how
161.
everybody's playing.
$99. Thomas Ukai, 131.
I think this might be a must-win match.
55.
And
Romeo
believe it or
Ukai,
not,
62.
that previous win for Martin Turner was a very good result for Romeo.
46.
Because it
Thomas
means that
Ukai,
Peter
76.
Jakes can't get the 8 points now.
72. Romeo requires
And this
16.
is a bit of a freebie. He could have been 1-0 down. Can he take full advantage of it?
Thomas Banks doing what he's done all evening. That is miss a plethora of
Game shot and the
opportunities in a
first leg,
double.
Romeo Gerbavc.
And the strange thing about Romeo Gerbavc's evening has been this. He's actually been quite clutch
Second
on the
leg is
doubles,
Thomas to throw
but he's been
first.
unable
Game
to
on.
muster one that's won him a match.
35% on doubles for the night.
137.
91.27 average. No points. If he played 3 games in Group C this afternoon, averaging that and 35% on doubles,
180.
he's got a minimum of 4 points.
And I think you're putting that
57.
quite mildly.
I'm just hedging my bets a little bit there. He's likely got 6 points.
98.
But we only had one 90-plus average this afternoon, and that was a losing average. So that's why I said 4 instead of 6.
100.
Well, it's fair to say that Romeo has been hit by heavy artillery this evening. Anything he has done has seemingly been surpassed.
180.
But he is trending in an upward direction here, averaging 115 in these early stages, and could be on for an 11 darter
100.
and a
Romeo
2-love
require
lead in next to no time at all.
Game shot and the second leg, Romeo Gerbavc.
That is seriously good.
Third leg, it's Romeo to throw first.
If he knocks
Game
Thomas
on.
Banks for 6 here, I'm just going to say it.
100.
Can it be 10 o'clock on Friday night already? Because this group has been outrageous.
99.
I was talking to Devin Peterson earlier this week when he was in the chair, Henry. And we were reminiscing about how good that Group B was that he was involved in with Paul Hogan.
140.
It was so good that by the end of the night, nobody wanted to go to bed. We were too wired because it was so
100.
exciting. This group has got the potential to be just as good as that.
Well, we're going to be wide on the good darts and also wide on those very sugary sweets that you
140.
bought in for us in the commentary box this evening.
Don't blame me, blame Wendy.
In case you don't know who
56.
Wendy is,
Romeo
she's a worm.
121.
She is. Other worms are available.
47.
This is all going to plan for Romeo. Because if he'd lost this game, it would have been Romeo no.
96. Romeo requires
Maybe
74.
Romeo yes.
Well, in next to no time, he could get this game Romeo done. And that was almost the
54.
third
Thomas
leg
require
won.
150.
Beautiful first start. Surely he'll stay there. Did so, but was unable to locate a
140.
second until
Romeo
dart
required
3.
20.
For this to continue, what has been an ultra good performance.
Game
Romeo,
show in the third
Romeo,
leg.
dart,
Romeo
Val,
Gerbavc.
Romeo. Because this has been a fairy tale performance so far.
Fourth leg, it's Thomas to throw first. Game on.
Been rather quick as well. Less than 5 minutes for the first 3 legs. He's averaging about
96.
1 minute 35 a leg.
$100.
If he plays like this for the next 6 months, there are going to be a lot of people thinking that
100.
Croatia are going to go deep in next year's World Cup.
If he plays like this at Q School, I don't think we'll see Romeo Gerbavc here next year.
36.
It wouldn't surprise me. I think he's somebody that if he was to make his way to the PDC Pro Tour in 2025,
90.
that he can throw everything he's got at it. As long as he's got the right backing and that money isn't an
85.
issue, I think he's got the kind of life that would give him the freedom to do whatever he wants.
94.
After all, that's why he's here for the week.
$60. Thomas require 121.
Well, for the first time, Thomas Banks has been given a bit of a breathing space in a leg. He decided to go down for the 25s.
81.
At the beginning of the 1-2-1 checkout. He's left himself square on tops in the end.
83. Thomas, you require
Just in
40.
case that last dart gets him to a finish. Double 10. And that dart gives him his
Game
first
shot
leg
on
of the
fourth leg,
contest.
Thomas Banks.
And even in a comfortable leg, he made it hard work to see it through.
Fifth leg,
He
it's
does play
Romeo
a
to
dart
throw
like a
first. Game
bulldog,
on.
doesn't he? He's somewhat vicious. When you first meet Thomas, you want to
99.
give him a hug. But if you play him at darts, there's a bit of growl about him.
100.
Other bulldog-style players, John Bowles.
$89.
Shane Burgess. I used to play county with a guy called Keith Wright. Used to call him the Bulldog. My
140.
God, he was good. Still plays really good darts in the ADC in the northeast of England now.
Well, Thomas Banks this week, once
139.
again, wants to be Bulldog the Bounty Hunter here at the Super Series.
140.
That was a really nice segue. I like that one.
He's been chasing down big checks everywhere he's gone. He's won a week here. He's won the Vault National Finals. That gave him
98. Thomas, you require
£8,000.
121.
He could potentially be 50 grand better off by the end of the year. But he may well be
96.
beaten in this
Romeo
match.
requires 76.
Because Romeo Gerbavc looking at 76 to get his first win on the board. To
Game shot
eventually
and the
get that
match,
first
Romeo
win on the board.
Gerbavc.
He gets the better of Thomas Banks by 4 legs to 1. He had to wait right until the last game of the session to pick up his first win of it. It keeps itself just about in the mix. But what a high quality affair. Both players averaging 98, but the glaring issue is in that fourth column down from the top of your screen, the checkouts. Both players with 6 and a double. Romeo taking 4, Thomas only taking 1, and it's Gerbavc that is back in the mix. Coming up after the break, game 25 of 25 on this Marathon Modus Super Series Thursday. Andy Bolton kick-started the evening with a 4-1 win against Thomas Banks. He's rounding the night off with a game against Peter Jakes.
Hang on a minute.
Wow! Oh my God! That's 100 quid down the drain already.
Itching to hit the 180.
He's gone for the maximum.
18 for the Bull. Bull.
53.
No, he said Bull. That's a great first start from Adam. Oh, look at this. He's going to leave Scape.
Oh, can you believe it? That is unbelievable. The match starts to put his team into the final. And through to the final they go. Charlie Murphy has hit the match-winning dart on both occasions. Double 4 for the title.
Game shot out of the match. Please show your appreciation for the winner of the Influencer Pairs event, George Scaife and Adam Lipscomb.
He seems to be out, that's what he is, Charlie Murphy. A couple more visits yet.
We're not going to need that.
Bosh.
Pie face is through. He gets
And
there
he's
in the end.
absolutely buzzing.
It was a game that pie face dominated throughout.
Well, the final game of a thrilling Thursday here at the Modus Super Series. Group B really has delivered and delivered in spades. We've seen high quality affair after high quality affair, and we finish off the night's proceedings with a battle of Peter Jakes and Andy Bolton. For Peter, he lost his 100% record last time out against his fellow Yorkshireman Martin Turner. But if he can win this match against the X Factor, he'll finish the evening on 6 points, tied with Turner at the top of the table. The winner of this game will join
Game on.
Martin on 6. For Andy Bolton, this is going to sound a little bit weird, but it'd be almost a sneaky 6 points for the night.
80.
Yes, because other people have been garnering the headlines. Turner got them early with his finishing. Gerbavc actually deserves a lot of credit for getting out of tonight with 2 points, with that 98.67 average just now. But Jakes, with some of his finishes, the 164, the 138.
60.
But Bolton is still mixing it, even though these players have all stepped up tonight. Every one of them has turned up tonight.
97.
Well, it's one of those nights where, for us, it's such a pleasure to commentate on. And for you at home, I can imagine it's been such a joy to watch.
That last game between Romeo and Thomas, cumulatively, it's actually the best game of the night. Both averaged 98. Not one game tonight where Gerbavc was below 90. And he's walked away with 2 points. 2.
45.
To put it in perspective, Gerbavc and Thomas Banks put in the game of the night. They're the bottom 2 players in the group.
Correct.
100.
So with this being the last game of the group for tonight, what is the right result? Well, here's the thing.
45. Andy, you require 100.
It really doesn't matter, because Jakes and Bolton are on the same points and the same leg difference.
It's one of those ABBA Games where the winner takes it all.
60.
And a matter of fact, the winner would go top. They get the jump on Martin Turner.
100.
It would be so typical of Andy to finish top of the table tonight. He can lift this one over the top. Just like
Game
that.
shot in the first leg.
It's almost
Andy
as if we've been
Bolton.
watching him for years.
There is nothing about that man that
Second
surprises
leg is
you.
Andy to throw first. Game on.
Just a really good dart player. Always proving it wherever he goes.
He does his job and he does it with
140.
sheer efficiency. There may not always be party poppers when Andy Bolton's at the hockey, but you are always going to get a Mercedes-Benz
45.
style Vorsprung darts technique.
I'm going to try and speak your language, Henry. If Andy was a footballer,
100.
who would he be? You can say past or present.
$59.
Paul Scholes may not always be the player that harbours the headline, but he is going to give you a solid 7 out of 10, solid 7 or 8 out of
80.
10 every single week.
Comparing Andy Bolton to Paul Scholes is maybe the best compliment he's ever been paid.
134.
I'm not going to disagree with you. So far, this looks better
135.
than a 7 to 8 out of 10 performance. He's got Jake's pegged back.
99. Andy, you require 46.
And if he restricts Peter's shots at doubles, there's only going to be one winner. Another one. There you
Game
go, right
shot
over
and
the top
second
again,
leg,
and it's
Andy
2-0 Bolton.
But why have one when you can have two? And Bolton has a 2-0
Third
lead.
leg, it's Peter to throw first. Game on.
Incidentally, away from the Super Series this evening, there was a massive exhibition in Blackpool at the Viva Complex, which was being
45.
hosted and organised by Modus Sports. And it featured two of the top players in the world right now, Michael Van Gerwen and Luke Humphries, in a clash of the
100.
titans as it was built. And Michael Van Gerwen this evening won by 8 legs to 5 against Cool Hand Luke. Van Gerwen won with an average of 95.6. Humphries losing
99.
despite averaging a shade under 97.
So it just goes to show, doesn't it? If you compare that exhibition match with some of the stuff we've
60.
seen tonight, there's a very fine margin between this level and the next level.
The good and the great is sometimes the barest of margins.
180.
Here comes Le Resistance from Mr. Jakes, because he's not going to go quietly into the night.
100.
He's going to listen to Bill Pullman from Independence Day.
When you talk about Les Resistance, well, if he won his first two and loses his
123.
last two, he'll have a Les Miserables end to the evening's action.
$140. Peter, you require 54.
This is going to be Peter's first start at a double in the match. Just about.
22.
He made a bit of a meal of
you
that.
require 101.
This would be such a typically Bolton finish to take. 12 darts thrown, 101 left. But Peter Jakes gets some
69.
gets
Peter, you
some
require
breathing
32.
space. He gets an opportunity to cut this gap in half.
Game
And
shot in
this
the third
time,
leg.
double
Peter
16
Jakes.
goes. And Andy Bolton is made to think somewhat.
Fourth leg is Andy to throw first. Game on.
Andy's doing Andy things.
100.
Average is 92, 50% on doubles. It happens all the time.
$100.
Over the years, we have lauded James Wade for how he's stayed in the top 10 for the best part of 2 decades.
100.
How good he's been as a finisher, how much he's evolved with the younger players coming through. But Andy's got the same qualities.
100.
He can win tough matches against young opponents or seasoned opponents. But he seems to do it with the same level of play
59.
week in, week out.
Well, let me test that theory to the hilt and tell you the finals that he has played against players in this building. Scott Taylor, early 30s.
96.
He lost that game, but he then beat Sebastian Białecki in his second final. At the time, he was 20 years of age. He then lose the subsequent final in the next series to Sebastian Białecki. In fact, he was an outlier in a very young field that night because Białecki won the evening, Luke Littler lost in the semi-final, and Harry Ward, the other losing semi-finalist, and he then beat the evergreen Dom Taylor, 24 years of
81.
age, to win his last weekly title. He'd then lose out in a final to 26-year-old Conor Heenahan.
And we said at the time we wouldn't see Dom Taylor again, and he went straight to the tour. We're going to double 16 again.
Game shot
And
the
Bolton
fourth
is
leg,
going 2
Andy
ahead
Bolton.
again. That face that Peter's pulling right there is one of,
Fifth
oh
leg,
my
it's Peter
word.
to throw
Andy is
first.
very good, isn't
Game
he?
on.
It shouldn't be news to Peter. He's known it for very, very, very long time.
95.
And Andy's one of those players that knows when he's playing well. He has this aura around the hockey. He looks good, he feels good when he plays good.
100. $100.
Whoever wins the game, we are going to have a table going into Friday night where nobody is safe. Not yet. They're the best Group Bs.
140.
6 points is not safe. 2 points, still got a great chance. Whoever's going to be on 4, the person who loses this match,
90.
they're still going to be in a decent position. And I don't say this every week, but I am genuinely excited for what Friday night is going to give us.
85.
Because we've been treated to a phenomenal standard over the last 10 matches. Group C has got a lot to live up to when we come back at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
49.
Well, Bolton will feel from this particular scenario. He has got 6 in his hand for 176. Jake's back on 167. We shouldn't discount a man who's taken out 4 ton plus checkouts tonight, including
100.
a 164.
You require
But he's going to have to take it
167.
here.
It's the biggest finish of the week from Gerbavc. It will remain the case. But if Bolton takes
Andy,
this
you require
76, he'll be top of the table on leg difference.
36. Peter, you require
And
110.
he's left himself tops to do so if Jakes misses this. Needs to find a treble. Looks at treble 18. Cannot find treble 18. And so Bolton comes back for tops. 2 top the group.
29. Andy, you require 40.
For a 4-1 win. It's
Game
the
shot
X Factor
and the match,
that takes
Andy
command
Bolton.
of Group B. And he could well be moving one step closer to a Saturday night return. His perfect record of making it through to Saturday nights is in a great state to continue. And Peter Jakes has left his equipment on stage. You might need that tomorrow, Pete. As for Andy Bolton, well, a little bit of a shimmy, but he knows there's still a job to do tomorrow. But his job done for tonight. 6 points, 3 wins for him. Here's the player that is top of the group going into tomorrow's action here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. That spells the end of our Thursday night's play here at the Super Series. Myself and Paul Nicholson will round up everything that has happened over the course of the last few hours in a couple of moments' time.
Welcome back to the party in Portsmouth here at the Modus Live Lounge.
And he was right. Van Velzen's had opportunity, but it's Steve West that takes his opportunity. Does he get one this time? The jury's out. Is the double in? Listen to that! And Jimmy Van Ski is still alive! He's made it! And Marvin Van Velzen! Jimmy Van Ski probably felt he's already been out already tonight. Surely not again. Oh, Jimmy! It's a wry smile. What a finish! What a man! What a response! Of the 5-time weekly champion. It's Jimmy Van Ski who makes the final! Are we, Jimmy? You bet we are! One leg to see who the champ is. Yes, he can! Marvin is the man! Marvin Van Velzen!
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. What a Thursday night we have witnessed here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. It really was a stunning session of darts here at the Super Series. Every single player tonight had a running average in excess of 90, but it's Andy Bolton who showed the X Factor and stole the show. He is going to be the man to catch on night number 2. He and Martin Turner both picked up 6 points this evening, but as you can see, that superior legs difference has given Andy Bolton the overnight lead. Peter Jakes won his first 2, but they lost his other subsequent matches. Romeo Gerbavc and Thomas Banks, they've got work to do if they are to progress through on Friday evening. Paul Nicholson is alongside me here in the studio. Let's begin by talking about Andy, because in the middle of the night, we weren't really talking about him whatsoever. We were talking about the excellence of the 2 Yorkshiremen, but that was just so typically him. He goes under the radar, plays solid all evening, and is now top of the table.
It's experience, isn't it? Because he started the night pretty well, had a bit of a stumble, but found himself getting the best position at the end. That's someone who's done this before and never fails in making Saturday nights. And I don't think he's going to fail on this occasion either. I just can't see it. He never panics, even when he's in a game where someone is really putting him under pressure. And the one game that he lost tonight, the pressure was a bit too much because it was constant. But even when he came back, he put in his best performance of the week. He's able to bounce back immediately. And he was excellent tonight.
And we saw that big 104 average in there as well. And that was kind of the moment where we took him a bit more seriously.
Yeah, this week there's been some good performances, some steady stuff in the first 3 days. But the way he's able to have that upward trend going towards the Saturday, there's always one performance in the week where he says, I'm here to win again. And that was it. That 104 average, his best performance, and not quite the best performance of the week that we've seen. But boy, oh boy, was it impressive to get his first win against Romeo this week.
How about Martin Turner? Genuinely, we've seen a lot of Martin play in this building over the last couple of years or so. That felt like the best version we've seen of him here at the Live Lounge.
It was. Because he's had 6 campaigns without making a Saturday, and that doesn't sit well with him. But the way he finished in his first 2 games, we talked a lot about that at the halfway point tonight. But think about the way he finished off Peter Jakes in a tight contest. That could have gone either way. But when he got his chance, he took it immediately and he walked away with a smile on his face. He should be very proud of what he's done tonight.
And then Peter Jakes, I can imagine to a certain extent there's a little bit of a head scratcher because he gets out, wins his first 2, looked so good in those games. And then maybe towards the latter end of the night, obviously you had that game against Martin, that Yorkshire derby, just kind of flatlined a little bit, didn't it, as it came to a close this evening for him?
Yeah, I think the first 2 games he was using up a lot of energy in his head. He was focusing magnificently, but that does take its toll. And for someone who hasn't been here for a while, even just playing 4 games and not even 5 like the Group C guys have done this afternoon, or the Group A guys in fact as well. But I think you found that everything was put into the first 2 games, and towards the end of the Martin Turner game, you could just see him tailing off a little bit. And against Bolton there, he was missing shots that he wasn't missing earlier in the night, so just ran out of steam.
I'm going to make the most probably obvious comment of the evening. Thomas Banks, where did it go wrong? It was the doubles, quite simply, wasn't it?
Yeah, the doubles weren't great, but even at the bottom of the table, if we look at the table logically, he's only 4 points behind the top spot. If he gets a couple of decent wins in the first half of Friday night, he is very much in the fold. So polish up on the doubles a little bit, get a slightly better start. There's no reason why he can't qualify from that position.
Well, it's going to be a big task for him to do so, and Romeo Gerbavc as well. But that's the first of not 1, not 2, but 3 double sessions this week over and done with. I think this week of all weeks, we need to go and get our beauty sleep, don't we?
I always need it. I'm getting older, Henry. I need that beauty sleep.
Right, thank you for your company. We'll see you first thing. We'll see you first thing as well. So set your alarm. Well, if you've got to set your alarm clocks at 1 o'clock, you're probably a student, to be perfectly honest. But we're going to be back at 1 in the afternoon to see how Group C comes to a culmination. But as far as tonight is concerned, it was Andy Bolton who showed some real X factor, whilst we saw some real Yorkshire grit at times. We shall see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye for now.